One progressive versus 20 far-right conservatives. So I'm a little late to this party. This has gone super mega viral. I'm sure if you're watching this, you already know what this is. I'm not going to do one of my super long intros this time. All I'll say is I've liked Mehdi Hassan for a long time. I generally think he's a very solid progressive voice, not an annoying DNC shill liberal. He did work for MSNBC, but again, he was like a real progressive. I generally like him a lot. As for this video, I haven't seen any clips of it, though I have seen a lot of reactions to it on Twitter. Some of these more interesting faces. I see this guy right here. Seen a lot of photos of some of these people. It sounds like things get pretty wild. So let's just jump right in. Setting it to 1.25 speed. Let's do this.
My family lineage is settlers from the 1500s.
Colonialists.
Yeah,
You
colonials.
don't look very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are
Sorry,
you talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you say I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal
Get
experience.
the hell
That's another guy I'm seeing pop up on Twitter. He's got the like crazy psychopathic Tucker Carlson laugh.
Fascist.
Yeah, I am.
Listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
I'm Mehdi Hassan. I'm a journalist.
Ugh. Dude. These people, man.
I'm the editor of Zeteo, and today I'm surrounded by 20 far-right conservatives. My first claim is Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal.
Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal. I don't usually love these prompts, whether they're coming from, the liberal or the conservative. Donald Trump is pro-crime and pro-criminal, not like ideologically like twiddling his fingers, I love crime, but like he is a convicted criminal. I think it's more like the opposite, right? The idea that he actually like cares about crime or whatever, cares about tackling criminals, that's just silly. He pardons tons of criminals who are more than deserving of some amount of punishment, by the justice system. This like pretending to care about tackling crime or law and order or whatever is 100% just posturing. It's all fake. Like everything else with this guy, it's all fake. All he cares about is making himself and the people around him more money. That's it. He cares about using the levers of government to siphon wealth from working class people to the rich who already have tons of wealth. That's all he cares about. He's not explicitly pro-crime and pro-criminal. You know what I mean? Like if I were to take this statement just at face value, he's not explicitly pro-crime and pro-criminal. He's not pro anything besides making the ultra-wealthy more money, consolidating more power into the hands of the ultra-wealthy. That is all he cares about. Enriching himself and other rich people at the expense of the working class. That's what he's pro.
Welcome.
I hate this format so much that they have to like fight over each other to get there. For one, like this guy will always have an easier route to this chair than this guy over here. Like it's just a dumb format overall. So dumb.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And you're gonna look like a fucking nerd if you go like too hard at it, you know what I mean?
I'm Mehdi.
I would just like to ask, what makes someone pro-crime versus, anti-crime?
I think when you're soft on criminals, when you let criminals out of prison, when you pardon people who've assaulted police officers, you're pro-criminal. Donald Trump pardoned almost 1,600 people who were involved in January the 6th. I think 600...
According to the U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Columbia, approximately 1,572 people were federally charged with crimes related to January 6th. All of them were pardoned. Yeah, and it's like, the morality of it aside, the legality of it is clear. If they did January 6th, but for Joe Biden or whatever, Obama, Kamala Harris, Trump would not have pardoned them. That is a clear, severe bias to his usage of the presidential pardon. I mean, not to say liberal presidents aren't biased in their usage of the presidential pardon. Obviously, Trump's actions are more severe than any president's use in living memory.
of them have been charged with assaulting a police officer or obstructing a police officer. 100.
Of those, 598 were charged with assaulting, resisting, or impeding law enforcement. 171 were charged with using A deadly or dangerous weapon against an officer. It's so funny that this is like the Back the Blue crew. You know what I mean? That's my biggest issue with both liberals and conservatives, honestly, is the hypocrisy. I do have certain issues with the left as well. They're less hypocritical, I will say. For all my criticisms of some people on the left, hypocrisy isn't one of them. Not to say it can't happen, but it's a much bigger issue with liberals and conservatives. Conservatives more so, but it's definitely an issue with liberals as well. It's like for all the shit y'all liberals complain about Trump for, you should be criticizing your candidates for as well, frankly. And same with the conservatives, obviously.
70 had pled guilty to assaulting a police officer. 70 had pled guilty to assault with a deadly weapon. J.D. Vance said, we're not going to pardon the violent criminals from January 6th. Donald Trump pardoned all of them. Are you okay with
Vice President Vance said in January, if you committed violence on that day, you obviously shouldn't be pardoned.
I would say January 6th is a very special case. I would say it's almost a climax point in history. I would just phrase the question this way. Right now in the LA protests, if they were to...
He's just, you know what? January 6th is just a special case. Again, like, I would ask this kid, what if there was a liberal January 6th? Would you be cool with pardoning all of them too? If your answer is yes, then at least you're consistent. But obviously, like, I mean, he could say yes, but if push were to come to shove, he probably wouldn't support it. This chick is like looking right at the camera. I paused it right at this exact moment she's looking at the camera, and it's kind of eerie looking. I don't know why. Anyway, I love how he just completely deflected from Mehdi's question.
Just for example, they were to rush the capital of LA. I mean, they'd have to move over all the homeless people living in tents on the steps of the Capitol. But if they were managed to get into the Capitol and they were just protesting peacefully,
dude. Look, I say this all the time, and it's like liberals. I have a lot of issues with liberals. They can be extremely annoying, but even the most annoyingest, wokiest liberal ever does not have the tip of my pinky's level of fucking annoying that I get from right-wingers like this guy. Holy shit.
let's say police officers were rushing them in. They were letting them in and saying, hey, you guys can go in, like we have many testimonies that say.
What about the violent ones, though?
Okay, violent ones like
Like a man named David Dempsey, a judge, a Reagan-appointed judge, sentenced him to 20 years in prison. He stomped on police officers' heads. The judge said...
David Dempsey was sentenced to 20 years in prison for 2 felony counts of assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers with a deadly or dangerous weapon.
His conduct was exceptionally egregious. He attacked police officers with flagpoles and pepper spray.
He's like going through the, you know, like he looks like he's thinking. He is what the only thing he is thinking is, how do I justify this? He's not remotely considering what Mehdi's saying. It would never cross his mind to do that. He is just thinking, what do I need to say to reasonably move away from this with like some plausible deniability of why I'm deflecting or not answering this or moving away from this, as like we're watching the dialogue tree flick through his eyes in real time.
Donald Trump pardoned him. There's a man named Daniel Rodriguez. He got 12 years in prison for taking a stun gun and tasing a police officer in the neck and giving him a heart attack. The judge said he was a one-man army of hate.
Daniel Rodriguez was captured on camera shocking a police officer with a stun gun. He was sentenced to 12
Donald
years.
Trump pardoned him. Does that not make Trump pro-criminal? He's letting violent criminals out of prison.
I would say no, it doesn't make him pro-criminal.
You're okay with that?
I did not say that. I said that one pardon against somebody.
It was 1,600 pardons. 600 of those were people charged
one
with...
example that you just gave me.
I can give you more. Just
Okay,
keep going.
fine.
Shane
And I'll say the
Jenkins.
exact same thing every single
Then
time.
your argument will fall apart because it's not just one example if I keep going.
Go for it then.
Okay, Shane Jenkins got 7 years in prison for 9
Shane Jenkins was sentenced to 7 years in prison for assaulting a law enforcement with a deadly weapon.
criminal offenses, attacking police with a deadly weapon, destroying government property.
How do
Trump pardoned
pardons
him.
that probably shouldn't have happened turn into pro-crime?
So you've agreed that they shouldn't have been pardoned?
Sure, but that wasn't your claim, was January 6th. Your claim was Trump is pro-crime.
Yeah, because he pardons criminals.
Okay,
he
I would say that's a fault.
Let's talk about non-January 6 people.
Okay.
He's pardoned people like Paul Wolchak recently.
No! You were backing him into a good corner there. You should have pressed that line of attack there. Paul Wolchak was... admitted to using his employees' tax money to fund an extravagant lifestyle and buy a yacht. He was pardoned before serving any prison time.
Who took millions of dollars from his own employees, was sentenced to tax crimes, had to pay back $4 million. Trump pardoned him. He bought himself a $2 million yacht. Why is he pardoning criminals like that?
Well, I don't know. I don't think you should. I don't think really presidential pardon should be a thing at all. But I
agree.
don't think that.
All right, pause.
That means something.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Thanks.
Okay, that guy did a terrible job. He sucked.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going? Mehdi.
What is it?
Mehdi.
You're from northern UK, I guess?
I'm from London, North London.
Okay, fair enough. What's your ethnic background if you don't...
Why would he ask? Why would he think he's from the northern UK when he like has the most London accent ever? Not to say Americans should have an encyclopedic knowledge of English people's accents, but like, just why did he assume north at all? That's my only question. Does he like think brown people live in the north? Like seriously, I'm struggling to understand why he immediately went, "Oh, so you're from the north?" Like he has any fucking remote idea of like matching a person from the UK's accent to their geography. That's so funny.
I'm asking.
My parents are from India.
Okay, perfect. Just getting premise here. First of all, I want to say
The premise of Donald Trump being pro-crime.
No. I want to concern myself with why you care about what's happening in the U.S. first and foremost. Secondly, I want to say this: the argument,
should people who live in the U.S. not care about?
Let's not interrupt each other. Because
Why are people like nodding? God.
I have this thing. Like people know, I have this thing. I have to stay calm. Okay, so
Okay.
here's the thing. I am happy that he released J6. In fact, so much so that I was
Or like, what? You're gonna fucking kill him or something? Like, what the fuck?
prepared to protest if he didn't.
Okay.
So when you say, are you okay that he's pro-crime? Sure, because you know what? We're changing the definition of what crime is, first and
You
foremost.
don't think stomping on police officers' heads is a crime?
I don't think it's no longer a relevant conversation anymore. You're
Really?
arguing. No, it's not, because you know what? Okay. Have you seen the U.S. in the last 4 or 5 years?
Yes, I've
BLM
lived
protests.
there for a
Have you
while.
seen? Okay, I myself have been involved in these protests. I've seen egregious things that you couldn't even imagine.
So we
being
have no
done to
rules then?
conservatives. It's not about that. It's about
about?
tribal warfare. That's where we're at in the U.S. I don't know where you're at in the U.K. You're from India, so I don't really.
I'm not from India.
Oh, sorry, your parents are from India, so
I'm an American
you have
citizen.
your own stakes.
I'm an American, you know.
You're an American citizen. Okay,
Yes.
fair enough. I don't know how
Yes.
you got that, but fair enough. Here's the thing.
Are you an American citizen?
Absolutely. But here's the thing.
Not sure how you got that. Okay.
Born here.
Okay.
Born here, and my family lineage is settlers from the 1500s, so I have some stake in the
Okay.
claim here. Okay.
But you're-
a little different.
What the fuck? What? How are people like this? Again, I love criticizing liberals. I will criticize leftists too. Conservatism, modern conservatism, the worst of modern conservatism is so far removed from the worst of the modern left, even modern liberals. And this goes to the leftists. It's just like, guys, I know liberals are a problem. Like, seriously, I do. But come on. Come on, man. Again, it's like both sides are bad. The like liberals, the like American liberals, the Democratic Party, the center right wing of the American left. They're bad. But like this is another level, man. I mean, come on. It's like my lineage goes back to the 1500s. It's like, dude, by that point, Mehdi's lineage in this country goes back to the 1500s. He's probably got family who are related to, by that point, like everyone in this room is related. You know what I mean? No matter where you were born on the planet to some degree. Is he trying to imply like every single person in his family, like it's some like mega specific narrow incest tree? I wouldn't be surprised. Goes back to the 1500s. Like, what do you mean? Your family lineage traces back to the 1500s. And I love how that's just like such an like abject point of pride for him. Like that is like everything to him. You know what I mean?
You're a descendant of immigrants, settlers,
I didn't know.
colonialists.
Yeah,
You don't
colonials,
look
yeah.
very Native American to me.
I am Native American. Whites
not.
are Native Americans. What are you
Sorry,
talking about?
you're not.
What are you talking about?
You're not.
Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think
What was
you're-
happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on.
These fucking dumb freaks, dude. Look at them clapping like giddy. I remember this chick. This chick is like maybe the worst human being who's ever lived, and I'm being 100% serious.
Whites are Native Americans.
Really?
I think,
Look at Frat Bro here clapping like a fucking seal.
What was happening before the 1500s?
I think you're getting confused with it.
I don't mind going on a
think
tangent.
you're- I
But
think
what was
you're
happening
getting-
before
no,
the
no,
1500s?
calm down. I think you're getting
What was happening before the 1500s?
There was indigenous people here that
Yeah.
came here
Do
from
you know what
Asia.
indigenous means?
Listen, before
Indigenous
America,
people
you
can't
don't
come
let
from
me
somewhere
finish?
else.
Why do you ask a question if you're going to interrupt?
I'm not sure if you know what the meaning of indigenous means.
I do know what it means. It means
sound
they
like
came
it.
here first, right? They came here from Asia by way of land bridge. Have an argument with Neil deGrasse Tyson or anybody else about that. I don't care.
Is he an American?
I genuinely don't care. Yes, he is.
Okay, just checking.
My point is, okay?
Nothing to do with crime. So far, you've agreed with me that these
Because
people
you're
are criminals.
derailing, dude. I'm trying
You
to stay
literally
on track.
sat down and asked me where I'm from. I think you derailed this
I think you got
conversation from the
offended
get-go.
by that, but I'm because
not
I'm always
offended. I'm
curious.
just wondering what it
Because
has to do with
I'm
crime.
always curious.
We're going to talk about
why-
immigration. Don't worry. Later on, you can come back.
I hope so.
Right now, you're doing a very bad job of making the case that he's not pro-crime.
I just
and
got a
pro-criminal.
round of applause. I could probably get another one actually if I asked for it.
Wow.
So I don't think I'm
is
doing
this how
as
you
bad.
get rounds of applause? You sit in a room with 20 people who agree with you. Wow, amazing. Amazing. That
Well,
must
wait
make you
till
feel
this
good.
comes out. You know what? I'm
20
actually
people
glad
agree
you're
with
getting
you,
this
applauded you.
emotionally outraged right
Wow.
now. This is great.
I love it.
Do I have to say anything?
I love this tactic. You're getting emotional. Ugh.
At this point, or are you just going
Please.
to keep going?
No, please.
Okay.
Make your claim.
Well, my claim is that I don't care if it's pro-crime. You
Okay,
want to go back to the
so-
topic
so-
of
so
conversation?
that's fine, we agree then. He's pro-crime
But
and
I
you
have
don't
a
care.
question for you, though. Do you care on the opposite side of the spectrum?
Yes.
Do you care about law being administered
Yes.
to the opposite side of the
Yes.
spectrum?
I think
when they're
anyone
the
who
same?
assaults a police officer shouldn't be pardoned. I think that Donald Trump shouldn't have pardoned 9 Republican members of Congress who were convicted of crimes, and I don't think Joe
I don't
Biden should
think
commit.
you-
I
I
don't
don't
think
think you
Democrats should
understand.
pardon Democrats.
Fair, but I don't
We
think
both
you
agree.
understand where we are in the U.S. Then. I
think I do.
No, because you're
I think I do
arguing
this for
from
a
the
living.
position of like a U.S. that doesn't exist anymore. We're headed towards
so
Trump.
nihilism, no laws, nothing matters.
It's not about
everyone's pro-crime.
It's not about that. It's that
That's
conservatives
convenient.
conservatives for too long have been playing it safe. They've been playing by the law.
Really?
They've been playing,
by the law?
Yes, they have.
Maybe you missed the Bush president.
Conservatives are
Didn't
so
play by the
concerned.
law, George W.
Let me
Bush, nor did
finish.
Ronald Reagan.
Let's be respectful to each other. Let me finish.
I'm not sure you've been that respectful, but okay.
I'm trying to bring it back, so let's both bring it back, okay? I'm conservative, okay?
Really?
Let me tell you this. We do play it too safe. We've been playing it by the book for too long. At this point, gloves are off, right? The left has made their point. They're willing
Are
to
the
do...
police force in Washington the left?
Yes!
Why
Are you kidding me? The left? Are you
wow.
are you
Police
insane?
officers.
Look at
Wow.
LA right here. You think those stand down
You think the LAPD are a bunch of liberal Marxists?
No, but I
Really?
think they listen to liberal Marxists who tell them what to do.
okay.
I think they listen to who signs their paychecks at the
Can
end
I
of the
just
day.
check,
who are
because you're
liberal
doing lots
Marxists.
of little diversions. We both agree Donald Trump's pro-crime, you're just fine with it.
No,
Is that the
I
position?
don't
That's what you
agree
said
with
so
your-
far
I
for
don't
about
agree with
5
your
minutes.
I don't agree with your definition
What's
of
your
crime.
definition of crime?
It doesn't
Stomping
matter.
on a police officer's head is not a crime. That's
no,
your
what I'm
definition
saying-
of crime, as the
He keeps getting
Native
me out.
American.
I am Native American.
If you
Okay.
say so.
So, going back to the topic at hand, we have different definitions of crime because you're
That's
talking
convenient.
about...
There's a
It's not
criminal
about-
code
it's
in
not
this
about
country.
what's
It's called the
convenient.
U.S. Criminal Code.
You know what? Let's focus
That's
on
what
what we
everyone
agree on.
focuses
I'm
on.
sure you and I actually agree on a lot
Do we
more than
agree
you
that
realize.
people shouldn't stomp on police officers' heads? Can we agree on that? If
I'm
you don't
not-
agree on that, then I really think this conversation is kind of
No,
pointless.
because first of all, you're saying what? That the police have the authority, that they're given the authority. I don't accept the authority that's been
it's a
given
very
by liberal
conservative
Marxists.
position.
I'm
I'm a conservative or pro-police.
Then you
Are
don't.
we-
Liberal Marxist. Dude, if you're claiming anyone in American politics is a Marxist, one, all of my Marxist viewers are hearing the terms liberal and Marxist put together and are actually having aneurysms. But two, the idea that anyone in the American government, the American Democratic Party, or whatever, is 1/1,000,000th of the left that a Marxist is so discrediting, so evident of a lack of knowledge, so evident of a lack of brain cells, that I think you should be legally, medically declared brain dead.
know what a
redefine-
real. Hey, listen,
so
you're
we
in a room
redefine
with
crime.
juggernauts right now.
We
Okay?
redefine
I'm telling you right now,
conservatives.
you are going to be blown
I
open
mean,
if you think
yeah,
that my
if we're gonna
position is
struggle with
hard
the
right,
English
you
language
have
for the
no
next couple
idea
hours, then yeah,
what
we'll
you're up
struggle.
against right now. Okay.
100%.
Yeah. Newsflash: the conservatives are liberal to me. Okay. Neocons, libertarians, all those mainstream people, they might as well be leftists to me. Okay. That's how far to the right I am. Do you understand my position? So when
I
you
kinda
say,
guessed it when you
you
sat down.
say, about obeying police, why would I give the authority to police? Do you know here in America?
Do you think Donald Trump should be pardoning 9 members of Congress
Do you
who
know
committed
who-
financial crimes?
let
Are
me
you
see if I can remember
are you
his name right,
pro
because it's
financial
so-
crime?
Do you know
pro
Thomas-
financial crime?
Do you
All
know
right,
Thomas
pause.
Timbo is?
Pause.
I think the people who clapped you have voted you out.
All right. Head back to your seat. You've been voted out by the majority.
Nice to meet you.
I'm surprised he shook his hand. Why would, shouldn't the Nazi, think that by shaking a brown man's hand, it's gonna, burn him or something? I don't know, Nazi ideology is weird and all over the place, but something like that, right?
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, so I'm going to be as respectful about this as possible, but the truth is your claim is completely bad faith. You do not care about being anti-crime. You yourself are pro-crime. Your side is pro-crime because you're a progressive.
How am I pro-crime?
So I'll give you an example, right? So your side, not Donald Trump, has passed a series of laws in California. Let's go with California. It's where we are right now. It's where I'm from. I don't know. Are you from California?
No.
Or? Okay. So in California, for example, the state legislature, completely progressive, just passed a law that limits sex offender registration to 10 years. It was life.
California has a tier-based sex offender registry. Those who commit misdemeanors have to register for a minimum of 10 years, while those who commit more serious sex crimes have to register for 20 years to life. One, I'm not going to take the time to fact check every one of these sand fact checks. When we did that in a previous Jubilee, we found that like at least half of them, if not most of them, were wrong or severely leaving out key points of information. We also found out that Sand, the Straight Arrow News, was funded by a far-right person, so it's gonna have that type of bias.
Before. That's pro-crime. The legislature in California, which is progressives again, has passed a law that says the voter-induced three-strike law is no longer absolute. If someone attempts murder,
California voters changed the state's three-strike rule in 2012, so the mandatory 25 to life sentence was only imposed on serious or violent offenders. In 2021, the legislature ordered a mandatory resentencing for those with certain enhanced sentences.
someone stabs someone on 3 separate occasions. A judge now does not have to give them life. That's a progressive law. That is not. That is pro-crime. You support that, don't you?
I actually don't support sex offenders coming off a list. I think they should be on for life.
Okay, so you disagree with progressives.
So hold on. You and I both agree that sex offending is a bad thing, especially child sex offending, right?
It seems like you and I agree on that.
I
The
agree on that.
legislature of California doesn't.
So I'm not here to debate the legislature of California. I'm here to debate
You're
Donald
progressive.
Trump being pro-crime.
But
And
you're
I'm saying that Donald Trump was friends with Ghislaine Maxwell when Ghislaine.
So here's the thing. Conservatives have this idea in their heads that like, one, what I was going to say was California's legislature is not like super progressive. I'm not going to say there's no progressives in there, but it is mostly liberals. Two, I don't know about the ins and outs of California's legislations. When I hear things like this, what I want to hear is, what was the reasoning behind these decisions? What's the truth behind the decisions? Because I'm not going to take what this guy is saying at face value. But also, what was the reasoning? Let's just assume it was. What was the reasoning? Because usually, 99 times out of 100, when you actually go and do that, you find that things aren't as horrific as they seem at face value or whatever. And two, progressives and leftists, we're more than happy to criticize liberals in this country, even in progressive places like California. And I guess 3 or 4, I don't know what number I'm on. Generally, I'm for criminal justice reform. I'm for, like, I know, like, murder and, like, sexual assault are just horrible, heinous, evil things to do. I also believe in giving people second chances. I believe these things should happen synonymously with a change in how we do our punishments to where they are more rehabilitative. Jail becomes school. It becomes therapy, not a place where we just torture people for X amount of years and then hope they get back in jail later. Create the conditions for recidivism, which benefits these prisons. But no, I as a progressive, as a leftist, am more than happy to criticize every blue state for not doing a good job, not doing enough, doing half measures constantly. Look, the Democratic Party sucks. Mehdi, I don't think, is the biggest fan of the Democratic Party. He would agree, I would assume, that they primarily operate in the interests of capital, not in the interests of what makes working class lives better. And that extends to the state governments of quote-unquote liberal or progressive states, which again, there are definitely liberal states. The idea that any of these states are really progressive, like, that's a joke, let alone leftist, right?
Maxwell, who's the worst child sex trafficker of our lifetime. She's serving over 20 years. Do you know Ghislaine Maxwell?
Yeah, she's actually not. Jeffrey Epstein's the worst sex
He's dead. I'm talking about people alive right now.
It's interesting, though, you didn't use his name, right? Wouldn't he be the one who did this?
Oh, great. I'm glad you brought up Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein, before he died, did an interview with Michael Wolff. He's on tape.
Is he trying to imply that Mehdi wouldn't have negative things to say about Jeffrey Epstein?
I don't know if you heard the tape. He says, my closest friend was Donald Trump. I was his closest
Epstein told Wolf, I was Donald's closest friend for 10 years.
friend. Elon Musk, I'm not sure if you've heard of him, he tweeted recently that Donald Trump's name is in the Epstein files. And Ghislaine Maxwell, who was the right-hand woman of Jeffrey Epstein, when she was on trial for child sex offending, which you and I are opposed to, Donald Trump stood up and said, good luck to her, I wish her well. So yeah, that makes him pro-crime and pro-criminal if he's being soft on child sex
Well, you
traffickers
just said they
like
were his
Epstein.
friends. He's
No, I'm
clearly
saying he was
something.
friends. He was friends with Epstein. You haven't seen the videos? They danced together, partied together.
It's
Epstein said I was
a
his
guy he
closest
knows.
friend.
He's not supported the pedophilia part. The only people
Actually,
supporting
that's
pedophilia
not
are
true.
the left.
Trump gave a speech about 20 years ago where he said Epstein's a great guy. He loves young women. a lot of them are very young. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, laugh, laugh. So yeah, I think he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
So you
and I
think
think
he's
he's
pro-crime
soft
for
on
having a
sex
friend
offenders.
do you have any friends who are criminals?
Not that I know of. Certainly not child sex offenders. No, do you?
If it came, no, of course not.
Okay,
If
so
it
we're both in agreement again.
If
So why
it
are you
came out
defending
tomorrow
Donald Trump?
if it came out tomorrow that one of your friends was a child sex
You know what
trafficker,
I'd do?
you'd stop being friends with him.
Yes.
Yeah,
And I
but-
wouldn't say- and I
then
wouldn't-
I'd go on TV and I would say, "Oh, look, Mr. Hassan was friends with this guy 10 years ago. Therefore, he's
What if
pro-child
Mr.
sex
Hassan
trafficking."
said, I wish them well when they're on trial? Wouldn't you ever go at me for
You
that?
wish your
Wouldn't
friend
you
well
let-
on trial?
Yeah, child sex trafficking.
Or again, if there's stuff like wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that recent thing that came out, may we always share more wonderful secrets or whatever, you know what I mean? If Mehdi did weird, creepy, cryptic stuff like that with his, hypothetical sex offender friend, that would be really, really weird. And I would have a lot of questions for Mehdi Hassan if those types of things were to come out. Again, especially for like leftists and like progressives, we don't give a fuck whether it's Trump or Mehdi Hassan or anyone. Liberals, the Democratic Party loyalists, of which I'm blown away that they exist, I don't know how they exist, are very tribal. Conservatives certainly are very tribal. I at least know why they exist. Most progressives and leaning toward like going from progressive into actual like leftism, they're far less tribal, at least with American politics. They have their own stuff going on in certain places, some on the left, but that's different. This type of thing is more of a liberal Democratic Party loyalist and like Republican Party loyalist / just general conservative tribalist issue. Like if these exact stories were flipped and it was Joe Biden who said like, may we always share wonderful secrets or whatever. If it was Joe Biden who said 10, 15 years ago, oh, Jeffrey Epstein loves young girls. Isn't that weird? Some of them are very young, or some of them are on the younger side. He loves his girls. Some of them are on the younger side. If Joe Biden said that, if Joe Biden said those exact words, and that was like uncovered, we would hear every conservative in America's heads explode in unison. It would just be a giant that everyone who survived would go, what the fuck was that? Did a fucking watermelon land on my house? Now, with that said, like, seriously, like, there would be the Democratic Party loyalists who would probably still defend him for doing that. Fewer than the Republicans are defending Trump. Like I say with everything, like, I will criticize liberals all day. Everything I'm criticizing about liberals, conservatives do it 10, 15, 20, 100 times over. Hypocrisy being one of those things.
Would you mean that?
I wouldn't wish someone well, but that's
Donald
your
Trump
gotcha.
did.
That's your gotcha.
It's a pretty
Is
big
that
gotcha.
He wished
Yeah,
a friend
pretty
well?
big gotcha.
Okay,
He
but
praised
see,
the-
which is-
No, you stupid piece of shit. A Guatemalan abuela deserves to be, like, from Trump's rhetoric, right? Deserves to be in a concentration camp surrounded by alligators for the crime of killing hundreds of thousands of Americans and smuggling in metric tons of fentanyl, okay? That is his rhetoric for a 95-year-old Guatemalan abuelita. For Ghislaine Maxwell on trial, he goes, I wish her well. It's like, dude, it's not just like what he said. It's the like double standard of attacking other people on trial or people not even on trial. But Ghislaine Maxwell, he's like, I wish her well. Like that's what's, we're scratching our heads over. You fucking insane piece of shit. This is not a flattering still, by the way. He looks like his face is literally melting.
What you're really trying to do right now is you're
What
trying to
about
get
the
back
fact
to
that
Donald Trump on a
what about the
personal
fact
level.
that
Let's
Elon
talk
Musk says his
policy.
name is
What's his
Oh,
policy?
you want to talk policies?
Yes.
So when he left office in 2020, he left behind the highest murder rate for over 100 years.
He left
Between
behind
20
the highest murder.
Yes.
That is the most bad faith claim you
No,
can
no,
possibly
it's a
make.
fact from the CDC
And you know
data.
what? Here's why it's bad faith.
Can I finish the sentence and then you can come back in?
You're just lying to people. Donald Trump.
I'm lying? Can I finish the sentence?
Donald Trump does not cause the
Can I-
murder rate.
can I-
Murder is a state
Oh,
level
that's
crime.
hilarious.
Gavin
Conservatives
Newsom is
spend-
more responsible for the murder rate than Donald Trump
Okay,
is.
that's hilarious. So Donald Trump's not responsible for murder rate, but other politicians who are Democrats
Yes,
are.
because it's
Everyone
a state
can see
level
your
law.
partisanship.
That's like saying no. I'll say Republicans are too.
Let's-
Governors who are soft on crime are the ones that are
Let me
responsible
finish the
for murder.
sentence. When Donald Trump left office in 2020, between 2019 and 2020, according to data from the CDC, from the FBI, from Pew Research, the 30% increase in the murder rate between 2019 and 2020 was the single biggest jump in the murder rate since 1905.
And who's
So
doing
he's
who's
pro-crime
doing the murdering?
and
Aren't they
pro-criminal.
responsible? Who's doing the murdering?
The murderers.
So aren't they responsible
But
for
why
the
did it
murder
go up
rate?
on his watch?
What?
Why did it go up on his watch?
Gee,
He's
that's a
very
real
bad.
hard. That's
He's
a real
very bad
hard.
at fighting crime
That's a
for
real hard one to
Republicans.
figure out, right? We shut down the whole.
Oh no, he's married? Oh no. hey, you know, at least she's gonna divorce him in like 3 years. At least we have that silver lining for her.
Economy during COVID. We told everyone they couldn't go out unless it was to violently protest. We told people that if a cop tries to arrest you, that cop's probably gonna get charged with murder.
No, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it. But the
Did
pandemic
he
didn't
cause
finish
that?
in 2020.
What?
The pandemic didn't finish in
No, but
2020.
you asked why the murder rate
and
went
yet
up.
we're
The
going to
murder
play the
rate
what
went up
about game.
because of
You
all
guys
these
blame Joe
factors.
Biden for crime for years.
What Joe
For
Biden
years.
actively induces policies that are pro-crime. I'm asking
So
you
does
for
Donald Trump. Okay.
name the policy
I'll
that's
name
So Joe Biden can create policies that are pro-crime and make crime worse, but when Trump is president, all of the power lies in the governors. Okay.
one right
pro-crime.
now. I'll name
Please,
one
I've
right
asked
now.
you for like 10 minutes.
I'll name
Please
one
do
right now.
that.
No, you haven't actually. You talked
What,
about California legislatures. He pardoned violent criminals who
not-
then went
that's
on
not a policy.
to commit
He
other
did-
crimes. You don't think releasing violent crimes into
A
the
pardon's a
community?
one-time thing. What's his policy
know-
he has pushed? Name a law he
Hold
has
on, no.
signed.
A pardon
What
is a
law has he
one-time
signed?
thing. A policy is not one-time
That's
thing.
like Jimmy Carter pardoned the
You
draft law.
guys
Listen,
may want to dodge January 6th, the pardons.
I'm not dodging that.
Then
Jimmy
deal with
Carter-
it. Did you
okay,
agree with
I'm
them?
gonna right
Do you
now.
agree with
Jimmy
them?
Carter
Do you
pardoned
agree with
draft
the pardons?
dodgers. Does that mean his
I don't-
policy was
I
no
don't
one has
support
to-
Jimmy Carter. Do you
Okay.
support the pardoning of people who went on to be prosecuted for sexually abusing
Yeah, like I said, I don't think this is a very good prompt, to be honest.
a 7-year-old child, illegal gun possession?
Like in the sense that it's too easy to like pick apart at the, you know, semantics of it. That's what this kid is doing, right? He's picking apart at the semantics of this prompt.
Reckless homicide.
Now, see,
These are
there's
people who
more
really-
Which again, like this in this type of environment, Mehdi should be going in here trying to, you know, paint a picture to the audience, not like debate or try and convince these people of anything, because that obviously will never happen. So again, this first one, not a very good prompt for that goal. You know what I mean?
Okay, see,
are
there's
people
more bad
released
things.
from
He
prison.
didn't pardon someone for sexually abusing a
No, but
child.
they went
He
on to be
pardoned
convicted
someone
of it.
for
So
rebelling
that's-
against the government that they believed
No,
had
they-
rigged elections. That's what he pardoned them for. He didn't pardon them for
No.
sexual child abuse.
But they were criminals who committed those crimes. He let them out. So that means
Now,
the crime rate goes up.
so you say they're criminals because they did the crime, right? Would you extend that to illegal immigrants, that they're all criminals because they committed a crime? I have a feeling
No,
your
the
position
Supreme Court, we're going to talk about immigration.
someone who's illegally entered the United States, not a criminal, but
not
somebody who
according to the
illegally
Supreme
entered the
Court.
capital
Not
is.
according to the Supreme Court of the United
The
States.
Supreme Court has said that anyone who enters the United States
The
illegally
Supreme
is not a
Court,
criminal.
and we can.
Yeah, and this is going to the morality of January 6th, which I don't want to get into too deeply. I am not, can I legally say this? I am not against violent revolution if it's necessary. I am not a leftist who completely rejects electoral politics. I'm just not. You look at previous revolutions, things like the October Revolution, they didn't have a way to vote the czar out. You know what I mean? In this country, we have, you know, not the best electoral system. I don't like, the electoral college and stuff. But we do have a okay way to vote in new politicians, vote out bad or older politicians, right? We have a mechanism for that the Russians back then didn't have. But let's say a person came in, a president came in, a new leader came in, or whatever, and actually undermined that. Like, actually did what Trump is claiming the Democrats somehow managed to do in 2020. 100% you overthrow that government. Can I say that legally in this country? I don't know anymore. I am pro violent revolution. And if there are no other mechanisms to attain the change that you want. So the people who did January 6th, the rioters, right? The insurrectionists or whatever, they legitimately, well, you know, to some degree, many of them at least, bought the lie from Donald Trump that the Democrats literally cheated in that election. They literally felt that the Democrats were staging a coup to permanently take over the United States government undemocratically. That's the lie that they were told, right? Now, you need to be... people yell at me for using this word, man, but like... To fall for Donald Trump's 2020 election conspiracy lies, you're not the sharpest tool in the shed, okay? Just gonna say it. But morally, assuming these people were acting in good faith, thinking their government was being couped, yeah. You know? That's all you have left?
The case site. Can I get the case site? Can I get the
We
case
can
site?
jump to 20. You want to get the case?
The case site, please. You said the Supreme Court
The
said...
citation of the case.
Yes, the entering the United States illegally is not a crime.
It's called Arizona versus United States 2012. Go look it up.
Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Oh, God.
Hey, how's it going?
How are you, sir?
Nice to meet you,
Nice to
Mehdi.
meet you. Thank
Oh, God, this guy, too. He was in a previous Jubilee. Didn't we find a picture of him holding up a sign at some protest saying women shouldn't vote? Yeah, this guy's another absolute fucking lunatic.
you for coming. I appreciate you. I really just more want to get an understanding. When you say pro-criminal, what do you mean?
I mean that when confronted with people who've committed criminal acts, Donald Trump has been either soft on them, friendly with them, pardoned them, and of course, let's not forget, I mean, we've got 5 minutes left, I'm surprised it hasn't come up earlier. He's a convicted criminal himself sitting in the White House.
Okay, I want to make sure I
34 felony
understand
offenses.
you correctly, because
Yes.
I don't want to strawman you.
No,
You're saying
I appreciate that.
every time that he's been confronted,
Not every time. I didn't
most
say the
times,
words every time.
most times,
A lot of the time.
a lot of the times,
Yes.
he's leaned towards criminal activity.
I didn't say criminal activity. He has committed crimes.
Endorsed
He's
criminal.
been indicted for 88 different criminal offenses in 4 different jurisdictions by 5 different grand juries. He was convicted himself on 34 different criminal offenses by a jury of his peers. But let's park that for a moment.
Okay.
Separate to his own crimes, when
Right.
confronted with the crimes of others, or the alleged crimes of others, for example, a Chinese crypto billionaire called
Right.
Justin Sun, who was being investigated for market manipulation, Trump dropped the case, invited him to the golf course,
Right, I get
invited
it.
him
So
to the White House,
plenty of
and
examples,
the guy
plenty of
invested
examples.
$70 million in Trump's
Okay, so
cryptocurrency.
what I want to ask you
That's
this. Okay,
pro-crime in my
so
view.
is it possible, because remember, the burden of proof's on you, right? You have to prove. Is it possible that all these things that he's done that supposedly make him pro-crime,
Yeah.
is there's another reason for the doing it? There's other justification. For
Oh,
example,
no,
let me give an example,
yeah,
and then you can
please.
rebut it. The J6.
Yes.
Is it possible that he could have done this
Yes.
to unite the country, to move past, to go to a new chapter? If it's even possible, I think you would have to admit that there's another possibility. Therefore, he's not pro-crime, at least in possibility.
So let
Dog, it's like, again, imagine if Joe Biden did that. If he goes, guys, you did the liberal January 6th. I'm going to pardon all of you. That was not a Joe Biden impression. Now look, we need to unite this country. So for everyone who did liberal January 6th, you're going to get a pardon. A pardon to unite this country because we defeated Medicaid. I don't know. That wasn't a good one either, but anyway.
me agree and disagree.
Yep, okay.
So I agree with you that the intent could be different. I don't think Donald Trump was sitting there saying, how can I increase the level of murders? Let me release some murderers.
Right.
I'm not saying he did that on January 6th. I don't think he was trying to unite the country. That's where we disagree. That's bullshit. In fact, he divided the country further. But intent doesn't really matter to my claim. If he's releasing violent criminals,
Wait.
it doesn't
Intent
matter.
doesn't matter?
No, he's pro-crime and pro-criminal.
No, but that's a big indictment to say pro-crime. That means
If I'm
he's
confronted,
for crime.
I'm confronted. Well, he is because, for example, I gave an
No.
example.
It could
Can I
be
finish?
possible.
Oh my God. Semantics. This is a terrible prompt. Kind of an L to Mehdi on this one, frankly. Again, not because anything he's saying is wrong, but these guys are just getting caught up in the semantics of the prompt.
I didn't
Okay, sorry,
interrupt you.
forgive me.
Your,
Yep.
your friend earlier, your ally, said, where has he done stuff that's increased the crime? I'm telling you, people have been pardoned who've been convicted on multiple other crimes. These people who we pardoned had previous criminal records. They were not just some folks chilling around go, we're against the takeover of our country.
I'll say this. You watching this should look up some of the people he pardoned. The Walczak one, right? That dude's mom attended a fundraiser or dinner with a $1 million entry fee. So she paid him $1 million to go to this fucking dinner. And wouldn't you know, right away, he was pardoned. Seriously, look up some of these people he's pardoning, man. They are roller coasters.
We're opposed to rebellion. A lot of these people were already hardened criminals, militia members. He looked at those people and said, you know what? They've been convicted in many cases by Republican judges, but I'm going to let them out. Yeah, that makes
can I
you
ask you a question?
pro-criminal.
Is it possible-
Very
again,
much so.
all I'm trying to-
And if Joe Biden had done it, you'd be attacking him.
Sure. Is it possible that their conviction was part of a plea? It's like, oh shit, I can't get out of this, so I got to take a plea deal.
Some of them, maybe.
A lot of them, maybe?
Others we saw with our own lying eyes on tape,
Okay,
battering
so-
police
so I
officers.
wanna
Did
eventually-
you watch live on January 6th? What happened?
To be completely honest, I'm pretty novice on this. I'm more trying to target. You're saying he's pro-crime. In my head,
I'm
just
saying-
thinking this logically.
I've-
Let me finish. If I can finish for 1
please.
second. If thinking this, there's a possibility that he might have had other reasons. For example, unifying the country.
Yep.
Next chapter, right? That could be the reason. Therefore, it's not pro-crime. There was other reasons. I'm just saying that's a possibility. And if that's
And I'm saying it's a possibility, but I'm saying it's irrelevant because if you're knowingly releasing violent criminals out into the community, pardoning, not just releasing, then yes, you are being pro-criminal. And I've interviewed police officers.
I don't know about that case,
I've
but
interviewed police officers who have been assaulted, beaten, had to retire from the police office, broken bones.
Can I move really
Let me say
quick?
that.
Yeah, go
I'll
ahead.
finish very quickly. I've interviewed these police officers. They've been beaten by people who they've then seen walk off the streets and then carry on threatening them. Yes, when Donald Trump is responsible for that, you're definitely pro-crime.
Okay, I doubt a
All
lot
right,
of the sources,
pause.
but
You doubt
Pause.
police officers who testified to being assaulted.
You've
Wow.
been voted out by the majority. Please return
Nice
to your
to meet
seat.
you. Thanks. Hey, how's it?
You think that guy did not just try and come back? You've already been here. One, I don't like this format because they let people come back at all. Usually in these, half of the people don't talk. It's usually the same, 3 people who are over eager and try and get up. After you've been up once, you should not be able to go up again.
Going?
Good.
Nice to meet you, Mehdi.
So you claim that your main claim is that Trump pardoned some people from January 6th. By the way, I was there. I saw it all firsthand. About a football field away. There's smoke in my eyes. bloodied. It was a crazy day.
Were you convicted of any crimes?
No, of course not, because I didn't enter the building. Staying very peaceful. But your entire claim is that he
That's not
pardoned.
my entire claim.
That's basically you keep bringing it up. All you do is bring it up.
Okay, I'll mention
Well,
some other
let me
people.
say this.
Are you okay with his pardoning of Paul Wolchak, who stole money from his employees?
You keep talking
or
about
9 former
pardoning.
members of Congress. That's
You
my
keep talking
claim.
about pardoning.
He keeps pardoning criminals. That makes him.
You know who else
pro-criminal.
pardoned a big criminal?
Go on.
Hunter Biden was pardoned by his
Yeah, I
father.
don't think
He
he should've
did
done
crack
that.
cocaine,
He should've done
and he
that.
had hookers there too.
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you can't do this to like people on the left like Mehdi, okay? We're just not like y'all. We're not in a cult like y'all. And again, to my conservative viewers, there is a difference between someone like Mehdi and a Democratic Party loyalist. Someone who, like, I'm sure there are people who would defend Hunter Biden. Mehdi is certainly not one of them. I'm certainly not one of them.
I'm with you all.
But then why don't you claim that
check my
Biden? Why
Twitter.
don't you claim that
I
Biden
think Joe
is
Biden in that
pro-crime?
instance was pro-crime. He shouldn't have done it.
well,
He
so
shouldn't
he
have
was
done it.
overall pro-crime
shouldn't have
just
done
because
it.
he did that
No,
one.
but Joe Biden didn't just. So if it was just a pardon,
Okay.
then you'd be fine. But I already mentioned there's also the fact that Joe Biden wasn't actually a convicted criminal in office. Trump has committed crimes. Trump hangs around with criminals. He spent much of the 80s hanging around with the New York.
Yeah, okay, it's like what I said earlier. Yeah, let's also criticize Joe Biden. Yeah, probably pardoning Hunter Biden was not great, okay? Trump did that times 10 million, and you were not criticizing but you will criticize the Hunter Biden pardon with, your full chest and say that like Mehdi is being hypocritical by not criticizing the Hunter Biden pardon, which he did just say. Yeah, great. Hunter Biden pardon was bad. But this guy in the same breath is like, the Hunter Biden pardon was bad, but the Trump pardons are good and acceptable. And he's trying to say like Mehdi is the hypocrite here. It's insane.
Mob. He hung around with Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, that whole that's
I can keep going.
Jeffrey Epstein lived in.
Mob. He hung around.
According to the Fear City documentary and other reports, Trump worked with the mafia on certain construction jobs that involved union, supply, and contract companies that were under mob control.
With Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
Well, that whole that's.
I can keep going.
Jeffrey Epstein lived in West Palm Beach, the area, and that's the closest golf course you can go to.
Do you think-
and he's very
do you think
rich,
Donald Trump is in the Epstein
so he
files?
paid.
Do you think Donald Trump is in the
As
Epstein
soon
files?
as Trump found out,
Do you think Donald Trump is in the Epstein files?
No, I do not. And
What, is Elon Musk lying?
Let me explain this. Okay. He lived in the area in Mar-a-Lago, near Mar-a-Lago, so he bought obviously a ticket to go in there.
Yep.
As soon as Trump found out that Epstein had done all those bad things, immediate ban
That's
from
not true,
Mar-a-Lago.
but okay.
Immediate ban
That's
from
not true.
Mar-a-Lago. Yes, it is.
That's not
yes,
true.
it is.
In fact,
100%.
A book called The Grifters Club alleged Trump banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago for hitting on another member's daughter.
Ghislaine Maxwell recruited some of the girls that were abused from Mar-a-Lago.
So
During the deposition, Virginia Giffrey said she was approached by Ghislaine Maxwell about giving massage to Epstein while working as a spa attendant at Mar-a-Lago.
listen to this.
From Mar-a-Lago. That's pretty outrageous, right?
Elon Musk tweeted that out in a fit of rage. Okay. Do you
Sometimes
really?
people
Do you
tell
really
the truth
think?
when they're angry.
Do you really
the
think?
truth comes out when people are angry sometimes.
So Kash
we
Patel,
might see that today.
Kash Patel literally said that Musk had no access to the Epstein files. So
Kash Patel said that Epstein killed himself. Do you agree with that?
whatever he says goes. Then yeah, I don't care.
You do?
He knows more information than I do.
A lot of MAGA people are upset
He knows
with
more
Kash
information than I
Patel
do. But here's the actual claim.
Suddenly people are trying to vote you out because you said you agree with Kash Patel on Epstein.
He knows more
All
information
right,
than I do.
pause. That's time. Please return to your seat.
Good to meet you.
Yeah.
I just... Holy shit. I would love to see this guy try to extend that same amount of charity to a Democrat appointed FBI director. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ.
My next claim is that Donald Trump is defying the Constitution.
Yeah. I mean, true. Part of me is like, if the Constitution was really, 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 really good, which it's not a terrible piece of, a terrible document by any means. My ultimate point is, like, I don't think God himself wrote the Constitution. If there's something in the Constitution that's immoral, then it's okay to defy it. Frankly, we should democratically work to make the Constitution better, make better amendments, more amendments, whatever we got to do, and make it a good document that where defying it is a bad thing. I guess this question presupposes the Constitution is a generally good thing and that Trump's defiances of it are generally bad things. I would maybe be more specific. I don't know how you would be. Like the real prompt should be Donald Trump is doing bad things. Forget about defying the Constitution, because again, sometimes maybe defying the Constitution is just what's morally right, depending on whatever hypothetical situation. Maybe if you're someone who supposedly cares a lot about the Constitution, like Republicans and conservatives often claim they are, You can catch them in hypocrisy. Maybe you can convince some viewers that, oh, maybe the modern right wing is fucking crazy by pointing out this hypocrisy. Maybe that's what Mehdi is planning on doing. Let's see.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Mehdi, lovely to meet you.
So I would say that with Trump being anti-constitution, I don't really care, to be quite frankly.
Okay.
Because in regards to the Constitution is a document that should seek to serve us. And when it fails to seek to serve us, that can be amended. Laws can be changed. And quite frankly, the fact
Yeah, that's roughly what I was saying, right?
is we're defending things in this country that shouldn't be defended. The First Amendment should not defend pornography and making children and women be victimized, making women and children.
Every one of the people who clapped there, maybe not the psycho chick, every single one of the dudes who clapped, is subscribed to someone's OnlyFans. Okay, that's all I'm going to say.
Victimized as a result of that. I think things like blasphemy shouldn't be allowed per the First Amendment. I think that, quite frankly, there are a lot of legal processes that are enabling criminals and bad people to fully enact their will in this country in the name of the Constitution or following the Constitution. So,
Dude, theocratic fascists are so fucking funny. Again, I like leftists. Like, dude, I'm with you on criticizing liberals, but come on, man. The modern conservative movement, can you at least agree, is at least 1 degree worse? Can we agree on that, leftists? Like, liberals are bad. Can we agree that this is at least 1 degree worse? Because there are a lot of leftists who are like both sides are the same, and I think that's wrong. Frankly, I will concede both sides are bad in American politics. The Democrats and the Republicans, both sides are bad, but man, like one is worse. I would argue much worse. All I'm asking leftists here for you to concede is concede that they're at least a little bit worse. Can you concede that?
quite frankly, if Trump is anti-Constitution, good. And I think he should go further.
So this is wonderfully revealing of the modern conservative mindset. So I appreciate you spelling it out so openly. Just checking, do you support the Second Amendment?
I do.
Okay, surprise, I was shocked to hear that. I'm saying that Donald Trump is defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He's thinking of defying the 12th and 22nd Amendments. You're saying you don't care about the Constitution, but actually you do because you quite like the Second Amendment. You just don't like the bits that you disagree with. Can I just be clear on that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm more than willing to amend it and include
Whenever
the
it's in your
Second
favor?
Amendment. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely.
so can Democrats do the same when they're in office?
No, absolutely not. Because
you
it's
don't
the
believe in
friend enemy.
democracy?
No, I don't. Absolutely not.
What do you believe in?
Autocracy.
By who?
Honestly, quite frankly, anyone who is in line with Catholic teaching.
Donald Trump is not Catholic.
Of course, he's not. I completely agree,
so
and
you
that's part of
support
the
Trump?
problem.
You don't support Trump?
No, I don't. I didn't even vote for him. I wrote in like John Pork or someone. I
Why
can't
did
even
you-
remember.
Why did you vote if you don't believe in democracy and you want autocracy?
Well, because quite frankly, I voted.
This is
I kind
fascinating.
of voted just to.
I came with this
troll a
argument,
little
but I'm
bit,
bored of my own argument. I'm much more interested in this. So
Yeah, absolutely.
How do we get to an autocracy?
I think, quite frankly, that if we are able to enact local
Who
leaders.
is the we,
or-
by the way?
I think, quite frankly, these far right conservatives sitting right around
White
me.
people?
Yeah.
No brown
Absolutely.
people. So
Well,
some
actually,
of you guys,
I have quite.
some of the people
I
in this
have
room
quite-
don't make the cut
no,
from what I can see visually.
Actually,
Okay.
hold on for a moment. I do think that there are people who happen to not be white who do actually have history in this country and have roots in this country. For instance, from the Mexican-American War, we subsumed a lot of territory of people who have far stakes in this country who happen to be Hispanic or what have you.
Okay.
I'm for defending the traditional demographics of this country, which is majority white, and
how,
it should stay that
How
way.
does the United States? I mean, we've gone so off topic, but how does the United States look like under you? Sorry, what's your name?
My name is my name's Connor. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Took a little bit of a doubt there.
Oh, well,
saying that.
I use
Connor-
a pseudonym online,
Fair enough.
but
Connor,
fair enough.
How would Connor's America look? What would it look like?
Well, quite frankly, I think we would deport people who shouldn't be here.
I didn't ask about
whether-
deporting. What does the government look like?
What does the government look like?
Yeah.
I would say, quite frankly, it's under a sort of benevolent leader, such as
Where does he come
Franco.
from?
It could be a kind of aristocratic class. Could be someone
No, but
who
who picks the autocrat?
frankly, the people. I mean, we could hold a vote on it. Kings were
Isn't
pa-
that democracy?
Well, sure. You can have a vote to get to that
And
state.
then no more votes afterwards.
Absolutely.
Wow.
100%.
Wow. And if that autocrat kills you and your family, you're fine with that?
Well, I'm not going to be a part of the group that he kills because
How do
that's
you
the
know?
whole thing.
How do
well,
you know?
Carl Schmitt
Autocrats
makes,
tend to
Carl
kill
Ma-
everyone,
Carl
even their own
Schmitt makes
supporters.
this point very well in his work. It's the friend enemy distinction, right? You
Carl
liberals,
Schmitt, the
you-
Nazi theoretician.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't care.
Are you a
Who
fan of
ca-
the Nazis?
I frankly don't care being called a Nazi
I
at
didn't
all.
say that. I
Doesn't
didn't actually
matter to
say
me.
that. I said, are you a fan of the Nazis?
Well, they persecuted the church a little bit. I'm not a fan of that. But
What about the
you know,
persecution of the Jews?
Well, I mean, I certainly don't support anyone's human dignity being insulted. I'm a Catholic.
But
And
you
so
don't condemn Nazi persecution of the Jews?
I think that there was a little bit of persecution
We
and
may
stuff
have
like
to
that, which is
rename
bad.
this show
but-
because you're a little bit more than a far-right Republican.
Hey, what can I say?
I think you could say, I'm a fascist.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
I'm just checking who's clapping just to get my set of where everyone
Because
is on this.
in
Because you know
during-
that millions of people are going to be watching you on YouTube and checking out who the fascists and the Nazis are.
I'm not ashamed of that whatsoever.
clearly you're not. Clearly you're not.
During the pre-war period, prior to World War II, it was only those parties that properly enacted the people's will. That's why they won. The conservatives were fat cats.
Are
They
you
were
in favor
aristocrats.
of,
They
are you in
didn't care.
favor of killing people who aren't like you?
Quite frankly, I'm not. If
You mentioned
they-
Franco earlier. Franco killed a lot of innocent people.
Oh, well, he killed communists. He killed people who raped nuns and killed priests.
What about children who he killed and women who he killed?
What are you talking about? He never killed any women or children. He was Catholic,
He only
dude.
killed combatants. Is that what you're
Yeah,
claiming?
he only killed combatants.
Never killed any innocent people.
The white terror was only punishing those people who did acts of terrorism. And again, are you supporting like raping innocent women? Nuns, dude. Killing priests? I mean, priests don't brandish guns and kill
You
people.
just refuse to condemn the Nazi Holocaust, my friend. I don't think you're in a position to ask anyone any questions.
I quite frankly don't care what you think about me. If I'm a Nazi and
the
being a
feeling
Nazi,
is mutual,
if
so-
being a Nazi means upholding human
kinda
dignity, because I even believe in your dignity. I don't in a
don't-
state that I was
with the
running.
greatest of
I
respect,
wouldn't want to hurt
I don't
you or
debate.
anything like that. But
What are we
quite
doing
frankly,
here? I don't debate fascists.
okay. So do you concede then? I mean, why?
Do I concede you're a fascist who won't condemn the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yes, I concede that.
Okay, great. So I mean, what are we doing here? Because I mean, you
don't
just seem
know what
offended.
you're doing here,
You
to be
just seem
honest.
offended, to be quite frankly. Like,
I'm offended by people who can't condemn the Nazis. Yes, I am.
okay. Well, I condemn the evils that they did, but I don't really
Against
care
the
about
Jews?
being. Yeah, sure. I don't care though about being called a
Yeah,
Nazi
sure.
is the whole thing.
I never called you a
I
Nazi.
care
You
about
called
doing the
yourself a
right
Nazi,
thing.
a fascist, and a General Franco
Well,
supporter.
yeah, I am a General Franco supporter. He was awesome. He was super cool, quite frankly. Because the whole
And you
thing.
don't believe in democracy.
I don't believe in
What
democracy.
are you doing here at a televised debate? This is democracy. I want to debate and disagree.
Because it is the means to support an end. The reason we have free speech now is because we want to be openly talking about our opinions so we can get the state that we want. But it doesn't mean
This is
upholding
great.
free speech after we win.
I'm-
Again, I mentioned
the only good
the
thing about
whole-
this fascist moment
the
we're
whole
in
reason
is that you guys are so open about it.
The
It's
whole
great.
reason
Say
I
the
mentioned
quiet part loud,
the
keep saying
whole
it.
reason I mentioned Carl Schmitt earlier, and you kind of blew past him, is the friend-enemy distinction.
past him because of the Nazi
Even
point.
liberals, when they take power, they want to enact policies and they want to enact protections for their people and their ideas, and they're willing to punish their enemy. And so I'm the same way. I'm like, hey, if you're going to punish me, I'm going to get in power, and I'm going to frankly punish you when you try to leverage power against me. Just that simple.
I'm not sure what you want to say.
Hey, it is what it is.
All right. Pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seats.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
I can't say the same, but thank you.
Wow. I don't know what to say. That was maybe one of the most depressing things I've ever seen. Holy shit, dude. What am I meant to critique here that shouldn't be obvious to everyone? That democracy is better than autocracy? That what he was saying made absolutely no sense? I guess like specifically what I would ask him where he kind of lost me was when he was like, we should democratically elect the autocrat, some benevolent autocrat, right? Plato's philosopher king. We elect him, and then no more elections after that. I mean, what if you pick the wrong guy? You know what I mean? Is it just violent, bloody revolution? Just every time you want a new leader who's not doing what you want? Some small percentage don't agree with what he wants. It's just war, fighting, bloody fighting all the time. No, obviously there's no logic. There's certainly no logic. Like there's no logic to the modern right-wing movement in general. There is like negative fucking logic to out and about unapologetic Nazis like that last guy, right? I can't speak for the veracity of this tweet, but this guy says, the fascist dude that got fired from his job. So for context, this guy apparently is claiming he got fired from his job and he started like a GoFundMe. I think he's raised like $30,000 already. He's saying he got fired from his job for his political beliefs. After acting like a total douche when he debated to make a decision, started a fundraiser. Turns out he lost his job back in January. So he wasn't, according to this tweet, actually fired. He just started a GoFundMe to steal money from people, claiming he was fired for his quote-unquote political beliefs. Dude, that is an infinite money glitch. Just say something horrible and racist and like Nazi adjacent, claim you're being persecuted, start a GoFundMe, make a bunch of money, 6 months later, put on a mustache, say something racist to like a brown child, make sure your buddy catches it on video and posts it on Twitter so it goes viral, raise another $30,000, rinse and repeat. Infinite money glitch. Didn't that one Minnesota chick who like literally did that, like called like a black child the N-word, didn't she raise like $1 million fucking dollars? Like something insane like that, which she is going to come up later in this video as well. I have a tweet saved relating her to this video. We'll get to that later.
Good to meet you, man.
Good to meet you, sir. All right. So I kind of want to start at the basics or the foundation. I want to see.
Can I just check?
Yes.
Are you a fascist?
No.
Okay.
I don't. I describe myself as, I think, just a Christian.
Fair enough.
I'm a devout Christian.
Good to hear.
So, I want to start, like, what is your connection to the Constitution, and why do you love it so much? Like, what makes it so important that Trump would defy something like the Constitution to you personally?
Great questions. My first connection is I'm an American citizen. I naturalized American citizen, took a pledge to this country, to the Constitution. As a previous speaker has said, Constitution's not perfect. A lot of things I don't like about it. I don't like the Second Amendment. There's various amendments. I don't like the way the Senate is set up. I'm sure there's things you don't like about the Constitution. The difference is, I don't think you can just illegally defy the Constitution. I think each and every one of us can just make up whatever we want. Certainly presidents who are elected with an oath, right? Donald Trump took an oath to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution. And now when he's asked on television, isn't it your job to uphold the Constitution? He said on NBC, I don't know, which goes against his oath. And I'm identifying specific amendments where he is violating.
President Trump was asked by NBC if everyone, including those in the country illegally, is entitled to due process under the Fifth Amendment. Trump responded, I don't know. That's our president, folks. That is who the American public voted to be president of the United States. Twice. Almost fucking 3 times. What a fucking joke.
It's his oath. And I'm identifying specific amendments where he is violating. He's only 6 months.
He was also asked during a Meet the Press interview if, as president, he is required to uphold the Constitution of the United States. He again responded, I don't know. That's my president. That is my president. Holy shit.
Into his presidency, defying the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 14th Amendment. He wants to defy the 22nd Amendment and be president for a 3rd term. This is the problem we have right now. Free speech is under assault. The free press is under assault. Due process is under assault.
There it is.
The right to be in your home and not...
There it is. Well, first off, here's the previous guy, the guy who was admitting to be a fascist, fucking Sieg Heiling on camera. Like, I don't know why he was, like, tiptoeing around just saying, yeah, I'm a Nazi, when this is fucking him. Anyway, this is the shirt that this guy is wearing. This is the chick who, the Minnesota chick I was just talking about, who was literally just yelling racial slurs at, like, a black child at this Minnesota playground. She started a GoFundMe, and conservatives gave her, like I said, like, something upwards of $1 million. Because she yelled racial slurs at a child. The modern conservative movement said, you deserve a fucking $1 million for that. This guy bought a shirt with this racist-ass lady on it. One of those, like, AI-generated things, I'm guessing. And he apparently does not come up on stage during this video. He says he didn't go up because Hassan smelled like shit. 17,000 likes on this post. So yeah, we're definitely dealing with some pretty good people here.
Due process is under assault. The right to be in your home and not be invaded by federal agents, the Fourth Amendment, is under assault. So that, for me, is a problem.
Okay. Well, I'd like to start to say I really don't find the Constitution that important. I find it to be like a 300-year-old document. And it was created to defy the country that subjugated your ancestors in India. And then your parents probably moved from India to Britain. And then you move here to tell us that we should listen to a piece of paper that you were never even connected to begin with. So I want to say, like, if I don't care about it, why do you care about it so much?
How do you run a country without any kind of laws or due process? And by the way, you do care about it, because without the First Amendment, you wouldn't be sitting here.
Well, I agree with the First Amendment, and I think.
So do you agree with Donald Trump's crackdown on the First Amendment? He's imprisoning people for their speech. He's threatening free speech media organizations. He's threatening peaceable assembly. These are all rights under the First Amendment. Why aren't you bothered by that as a conservative who claims to love the First Amendment?
So I don't like the First Amendment. I like free speech.
Okay,
so
the First Amendment is what guarantees free speech. I'm from the UK, by the way.
speech.
I'm from the UK,
Yeah, you guys
which is
don't
a
have
democracy.
that.
We don't have the First Amendment. No, that's one of the things I do like about the Constitution. I wish the UK did have a First Amendment.
So people
I'm a
that get
journalist.
arrested for praying outside abortion clinics and stuff like that, right?
So you're opposed to people being arrested for speech crimes, I assume.
Well, it depends what it is. If it's like the people.
So you're like one of the previous speakers. You don't,
No.
as long as there's someone who agrees with you, you don't mind the crackdown.
No, I support.
Either we consistently support
I
principles
support
or we
free
don't.
speech 100%.
Okay.
I don't think
So
anyone.
do you think Donald Trump is defying the Constitution by cracking down on the First Amendment?
So I think he's cracking down on free speech, like the deportation of Mahmoud Khalil, who was just
released from prison by a judge saying his First Amendment rights were violated.
and I agree with the judge, and I disagree with Trump deporting them. But I think that's more a matter of free speech and not the Constitution.
I think you're military at this moment. I think you've conceded that he is cracking down on free speech, which is the First Amendment. So he is defying the Constitution. So it's a pleasure to be in agreement with you, sir.
All right, pause. You've been voted out by the majority.
He was like, yeah, Trump shouldn't have defied free speech there. All of these free speech activists flung up their flags. The minute he claimed their God King did something wrong, an accurate statement, they were like, dude, you got to get the fuck off the stage. Holy shit. Wow.
Majority, please return to your
Thank you
seat.
very much. Hey, how's it going? I'm Mehdi.
Mehdi, great to meet you. My name is Kai. Do you, Mehdi, believe that the Constitution is important and good?
Overall, yes.
Do you believe that that Constitution can be eroded through democratic processes?
What do you mean by erode?
The original intention of the Constitution being destroyed through a purely, democratic or legal process.
I'm not sure I agree with that.
Okay.
I think if you're democratically amending the Constitution per the rules of the Constitution, that's fine. If
Okay.
we could find a constitutional way to get rid of the Second Amendment, I'd be pro that.
So let's pose a hypothetical wherein the entire population of the United States has drastically changed.
Yes.
And the population now has completely different intentions about what to do with the country. Let's say it wants to give it all back to Mexico, dismantling the United States of America. If that's the case, then what's the use of the Constitution? It hasn't defended the country. In fact, it's allowed for its destruction.
I don't understand the premise. How did the whole country change?
Demographic replacement, mass migration. I mean, we're seeing a change in demographics. And there's
What is the... I do want to talk about immigration today.
He's talking about the Great Replacement Theory, a white supremacist conspiracy theory, of course. Did this guy, asexually bud off of Michael Knowles? They talk like the exact same way. This guy is 100% an aspiring right-wing political commentator. Let's look this guy up. Oh, he's Mormon. Yeah, look at this. He's on some kind of set. The Rift. Just complaining about black people. So yeah, he's got the vibe of genuine commentator of some kind.
I hope we talk about it.
Everyone's itching in this group to get
Yes,
to
sir.
immigration.
Yes, sir.
I've saved it. I've saved it for you all. But given we're on the sense of the Constitution, and you asked the question, what is the proportion of immigrants in this country? What proportion of the population is foreign-born?
It's very difficult to measure because the actual projections of the number have been changing more rapidly.
But what is currently the best estimate of official
I think it was about 15%.
Yes,
Yeah.
just under 15%.
Which is, by the way, more actually than the original estimate was. So
But
we have a
15%
huge-
of the people are going to change the country, change the Constitution. How's that going to work? It's actually a nightmare. As someone who wants to amend the Constitution and get rid of things like the ridiculous way the Senate is set up, or the Second Amendment on guns, or various other things, it's really hard to change the Constitution. They made it almost impossible. You know the last time we had a constitutional amendment?
You know
like
what?
20, 30 years
I
ago.
understand, which
And
is
it was all
why-
I think members of Congress pay.
Which is why-
it's
no, I
impossible.
get it, I
So
get
where
it.
are you getting
Hold
this
on.
scenario where 350 odd million people all become foreign-born migrants or the children of migrants, immediate migrants, even though America is a nation of migrants, and then abandons the Constitution and give the country back to Mexico? Outside of your imagination, where is that happening?
Let's bring it back to the actual discussion. What you did
Yeah,
is
please.
you entertained my hypothetical, but then instead of sticking to the point of the Constitution, you said, well, how would you bring about your hypothetical? And then when
Because you missed out the part where the Constitution's quite hard to
Hold on,
change.
hold on. I understand that. I gave you.
I also wanted to get a sense of where you are, and you're a great replacement guy. So that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and you're a real good journalist because you don't talk to people who identify as like a political ideology. I mean, that's
No,
a very
I
liberal
don't,
idea.
I don't debate fascists.
And-
I'll talk to them,
And
but I won't
frankly,
debate them.
frankly, that's upsetting. I think there's a big problem when we
That's
value
upsetting.
freedom of speech so much, but any real journalist is not going to talk to somebody because they identify with the politically incorrect ideology.
Just talk to the...
Dude, come on. It's so gross. It's so fake. I don't know. I hate this smarmy radio voice style of talking. I don't know.
That's in front of you.
Is that how I talk? Maybe that's how I talk.
What are you talking about?
You literally stopped talking to him, and then everybody had to vote him
debating
out.
versus talking is very different.
Okay.
It's pointless, right?
Okay,
He doesn't
so
believe,
you're
he doesn't
sitting
believe
there.
in free speech.
Okay.
He doesn't believe in
He was
democracy.
freely speaking with you. You're the one
No,
who
he
shut
doesn't.
up.
No, he said it very clearly.
Okay,
He said, I
okay.
support
We'll
free
tone it down.
speech
We'll tone it
so
down.
that I can
We'll
get
tone it
one
down.
election.
I'll tone it
After
down.
one
We'll
election,
tone
my
it
guy
down.
comes
We'll tone
in.
it down.
And after my guy comes in, nobody
Okay,
gets to
okay,
speak
that's
or
cool.
vote again.
We all listen to
Why
your
would I
conversation.
debate that?
We listen to your conversation. Let's
Well,
bring
I'm reminding
it
you
back
what
to
it
this
said
topic.
because you just
Let's bring it back to the
misrepresented.
Constitution.
Please do.
I believe-
First, 4th, 5th, 14th Amendments. Those are the
Sounds
ones
good.
I'm saying Trump is defying. Do you
Sounds
support
good.
that or do you deny them?
I believe that the Constitution is valuable because it represents particular interests of the founding stock of Americans who made this country great.
Do you think due process is important? Some would say that's at the very core of it.
The founding stock? Ugh. And look, I'll say this. A lot of the rhetoric, a lot of the discourse about this video is like, well, Hassan came on, or Mehdi Hassan came on, and was just expecting to talk to far-right conservatives. We ended up talking to fascists. It's like, this is kind of the modern conservative movement now. Look, you tell me if this is schizophrenic or something, but let's look at this image, right? The official Department of Homeland Security Twitter account posted this today, as of this recording. And it's a painting depicting Manifest Destiny, which that is already a horrible, shitty thing, horrible, shitty part of our past that we should absolutely not be glorifying. This painting is showing the Native American population literally being ethnically displaced, ethnically cleansed. The wildlife of this being displaced, being shown as dark and evil, being replaced by this great whiteness. That alone, using this type of rhetoric, I'm already this this is fucked up. This feels like exactly what a Nazi-brained person would do, frankly. Like, if you were to tell me a Nazi loved this image, like, or whatever, I wouldn't be surprised, okay? But let's look at the actual tweet, right? For one, this post is 14 words long when including all of this. So 14 words, pretty specific number of words. There's some like odd capitalization. Why are heritage, homeland, and defending capitalized? Like, these aren't proper nouns in any capacity. There's just no reason why those words specifically should be capitalized. Well, A is the first letter of the alphabet. H and H are the eighth and eighth letters of the alphabet, respectively. And D is the fourth letter of the alphabet. 1, 4, 8. 8 are just happen to be the ones that are capitalized in this sentence that did not need to be capitalized, that are not proper nouns. Like, it's not in the same order. It's 1, 8, 8, 4. But I don't know. You know, using that on like an image that would make any white supremacist have an immediate orgasm. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little strange to me. Again, you tell me if this is schizophrenic or whatever. This Nazi certainly thought that this was a Nazi post. Text is exactly 14 words long. 2 words have unnecessarily capitalized H's. HH. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google 1488. Okay? There is no way in hell this is a coincidence. I got chills. Wow. So the Nazis certainly are happy with this and think that this is an intentional Nazi post by the United States government, the United States Department of Homeland Security. So yeah, I unfortunately need to say that I think that this is just kind of mainstream conservatism today. The leading Republican candidate for Texas Attorney General follows this guy, the outright Nazi. So again, when I'm saying that this type of thing just kind of is becoming mainstream conservatism, there's just tons of evidence for it, man.
American
Sure.
Constitution,
And
Fifth Amendment.
and what I think makes the Constitution function, what allows it to save this country and to actually make it work, are the people who are...
I'm not sure where you're going with this argument.
Hold on. I'll show
Is
you.
Trump
Okay.
defying the
No, no, no,
Constitution?
hold on,
That's
hold
my
on.
claim. You can have these weird
We're
hypotheticals about...
taking it into a different manner, which is
I'd rather not.
what's the function of the Constitution?
I'd rather not have your...
You already did. You already did.
Yeah, but
Literally
now I
just
don't
5
want
minutes
to.
ago when you took it to immigration.
Now I don't
pal.
want to.
Okay, let's bring it back.
I want to bring it back to the First, the Fourth,
Awesome.
the Fifth, and the 14th Amendments, and the 22nd Amendments.
Look, then
Either
let
you
me
say...
throw it to your
Hold
question.
on, you got two very good positions here. One is to say, I don't think he's defying them, and I'll say why you're wrong. Or you say, I don't care that he's defying them, as one of your colleagues said, in which case, I don't know where this conversation goes because you don't believe in democracy.
That's fair. Do you think it's wrong to dismantle the Constitution?
So there's 2 options ahead of you.
No,
Do you
hold on.
agree?
This is important.
Do you
What I'm
agree?
doing
So
is
is
I'm
Donald Trump... Okay, let me ask a question back since you're asking me questions. You're not answering the basic point.
Well,
Do you think Donald Trump is dismantling the Constitution? Can we agree that Donald Trump is dismantling? Because I'll agree with you on that. I think he is dismantling the Constitution.
I think he's
illegally, unconstitutionally,
I think he's interpreting it in ways that are more...
which judges do not agree with him on.
Okay, hold
which
on.
the Supreme
Hold
Court
on.
has not agreed with him on.
And the judges don't agree with the people who wrote the Constitution.
How do you know that?
Okay, let's take your example of the Second Amendment. Let's say that a bunch of
I didn't
judges...
give the Second Amendment.
No,
I said
hold on.
Fourth. You don't want to talk about the ones I've given.
You're
Let me say them
interrupting me.
one
You're
more time.
interrupting me.
Because you're ignoring me. First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, 22nd Amendments. Those are my amendments that I came with today. If you don't want to debate them, just say so.
I'm trying to understand your
Just say
ideology.
so.
You believe that dismantling the Constitution is
talk about the
okay
first,
when it's
fourth,
about parts
fifth,
of the Constitution
14th,
that you disagree
22nd
with.
Amendments.
You would be fine getting rid of the Second Amendment, even though that would be a dismantling of the Constitution.
No, because it would
Your
be done
problem-
via constitutional means. I'm not the one sitting here like your pal.
Okay, you have
saying,
agreed. You have agreed the
I'm not the
Constitution.
one saying you just get rid of
hold
them
on.
willy-nilly.
All
I
right,
don't
now
agree.
we're ramping up.
I don't
Changing.
agree that Joe Biden should come in and say
Okay.
by executive order,
Yes.
if Joe Biden put out executive order saying Second Amendment no longer applies, I can round up everyone's guns. I don't agree with that.
Your result is exactly
I don't
the
agree
same.
with them. No, but I don't agree with the method of doing it. It's
yes,
unconstitutional.
that's fine.
He would have been defying the
That's fine,
Constitution, and
but-
I would have said so, but you can't bring yourself to say so. We've been sitting here for several minutes. All of your friends have seen me ask you several times. Do you agree that Donald Trump is defying the First, Fourth, Fifth, 14th, and possibly 22nd Amendments?
Yes
I
or
know
no,
that- I know
dumbass?
that
I
he's
understand,
defying the First
I
Amendment.
understand
You
that you
won't do
came
it.
in here. What you are attempting to do is simply frame this conversation like you did with the first claim about Donald Trump. But then when anybody asks you any kind of question that presses you to the least degree...
No,
about,
I answered. I
Hold
said
on,
I would
hold on,
dismantle
hold
the
on.
Constitution,
You
but I would
have
do it constitutionally, not by executive order.
So what I'm trying to get to is to prove to everybody who's watching that what you care about is not the Constitution in what it represents or creates. You care about the Constitution only insofar as it allows you to achieve your political worldview. We agree on that.
No, I care
You
about the
agree-
Constitution
You agree with the
because I
Constitution?
don't think presidents should be fascist dictators and violate the Constitution. That's what I'm saying.
You care-
And he is. I don't think the president should have the power to lock you and me up if we write an op-ed that he doesn't doesn't like.
That's
I
awesome.
don't
I agree.
think the
I agree.
president should be able to crack down on us if you and I decide to go protest
I agree with you.
outside his parade.
I agree with
don't
you.
think the president should be able to deprive you and I of due process or come into
I
our
agree with you.
homes without a warrant.
And I
well,
think-
let's end an agreement then.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I'm glad
It's
we
good
end
to
on
meet you.
agreement.
It's good to meet
meet
you.
you, Kai.
Something about I know we had a literal Nazi, but like that smarminess is so fucking irritating to me.
Hey, how are you? I'm Eddie.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
How are you? So Trump is defying the 1st, 4th,
5th and
Fifth.
14th, and maybe the 22nd soon.
Okay. So I want to focus on the 1st
Okay.
and the 5th.
Okay.
So you say that Trump is defying the First Amendment. Can you give me an example?
For example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events. A Trump-appointed judge said that was against the First Amendment. He's been cracking down on media organizations he doesn't like over their speech. If they say stuff he doesn't like, he, for example,
Cracking down how?
So, for example, he banned the Associated Press from attending White House events because they
can't go
said
to the White House
it's the
either.
Gulf of Mexico. That's not how it works. They were already at the White House. He deprived them of access, so he punished them for their speech.
But
which is
are
why
they
a
allowed
judge,
to go to the press
which is why a
though?
judge he appointed, Trevor McFadden, said this was contrary to the First Amendment. A Trump-appointed judge. He's called MSNBC and CNN illegal. Media organizations are not ipso facto
But that's free speech.
illegal.
He can call them whatever they want.
Attacking the media?
Yeah, he
Oh,
can
the
you
attack-
president as the
fucking
executive?
Yeah,
moron.
he can say whatever he wants. That's literally the First Amendment.
He can say
God,
he
what a
wants.
Absolutely.
But the
fucking
media can't
idiot.
say what they want.
They do.
But he's going after them. He's suing them. He's using lawsuits to crack down on the press.
They
Presidents
literally-
I don't know how else to put it, man. So much of modern conservatism is just not understanding things. It just is. It's just literally ipso facto not understanding things. And when you're over the age of 25 and your fucking brain is solidified or whatever, I don't know what to do at this point. I don't know. I don't think re-education camps would work. This is some of the discourse I've seen, right? 91,000 likes. Not to be too dark woke or anything, but unironically, these people shouldn't be included in our society. They violated the social contract, and if every authoritarian died, the world would be better off. Bring back social ostracism, exile them. I guess this used to be a clip from this video. It's so obvious to me that having a society is fundamentally incompatible with allowing people like this to gain even a teaspoon of power. 37,000 likes. 1.3k likes. I'm going to be so honest. We have to K star them. Again, you can't see the original post, but this was in reference to this video. And this is someone I follow and have followed. I don't know them too closely. Again, I think that this is an extreme hyperbole. Let's call it that. I don't think this person would literally advocate for rounding people up in camps and doing what I assume this is to them. Like, obviously what these people are saying in this video are incredibly just heinous, evil, repugnant. I personally don't think this is the answer. I am a fascist gets a round of applause. We really need to star these people. Again, I assume we can all figure out what this is, and it's not fuck, right? 54k likes. And again, it's like, these are the worst people, right? But like, I'm against the death penalty, okay? Something's gotta be done to change these people's opinions. I don't think this is the answer, though. It's wild how the average American Republican is an irredeemable piece of trash. We shouldn't be afraid to say that. 100,000 likes. No amount of policy will ever win these people over. You have to defeat them over and over again, if necessary, until they are completely destroyed. What does that mean? We need to determine what conditions create people like this. Is it lack of education? Is it crumbling socioeconomic conditions? And fix those things for future generations. Because again, I don't think there's anything we can do about these people. There's 20 people in that room on those chairs. I would be surprised if any of them in their lifetimes broke out of what they're in right now. Seriously. I don't think a single one of them will do that. $1,000 bet. Meet me, 50 years from now. We'll talk to all of those people in that room. If even one breaks out of this, I will give whoever comments first that they're taking my bet $1,000. And if they don't, you owe me $1,000. 50 years from now. So I think it's there obviously are adults whose opinions change, but when you're here and you're all grown up, I don't think there's anything that can be done for you. We need to ride out your existence and make the world better for future generations so that people like you aren't created. Again, this is learned. I don't think he's like genetically a fucking Nazi. This is learned. But we need to eliminate the conditions that cause people to learn into this.
I've done that
Lawsuits to
before.
give him 34 felonies that Hillary Clinton did.
No media gave him a lawsuit.
No, but
Oh,
people
we're
on the
talking about
Democratic
media.
side.
We don't talk about the Democrats.
Okay. So he can call them whatever he wants because that's the freedom of speech.
He's
he can even
threatened to
discourage-
imprison reporters.
He
wants to
absolutely-
imprison. He said reporters should go to prison for reporting. He threatened some of them with prison.
President Trump suggested jailing reporters who publish classified or other sensitive information if they refuse to disclose their source. Oh, this is the most generous to Trump sand fact check you could possibly imagine. This is not the only reasoning why Trump has suggested why a journalist should go to jail. Holy shit, San. What an absolute fucking dog shit fact-checking organization. By the way, you probably haven't noticed this, but I noticed this shit. Almost all of their little fact checks here have some kind of like typo. Absolute dog shit.
Rape, right? That is against the First Amendment.
Okay. How is that against the First Amendment?
You don't think sending reporters to prison for
Is he
reporting that he
sending
does
them?
like
Did he do that?
He wanted to. He said so.
Okay,
I would like them to go.
I would really like to.
So
fly.
other people stopped him doesn't mean he's
Right.
not defying
Okay,
the Constitution.
So
he also said if you turn up,
excuse me,
please.
he can want to do something.
Yes.
That doesn't mean he will or he can.
Okay.
And I think he's very.
Well, I've already
aware
given an
of
example of something he did do to the Associated Press, but okay.
Yeah, okay, so the Associated Press isn't allowed in the Oval Office, which is his office, that's his executive space.
Okay.
And they are allowed in the press room, just like CNN, just like The Guardian.
Which he thinks are illegal media organizations.
He can
He
think
calls
whatever
he
he
calls
wants.
the media the enemies of the people.
You called him a fascist.
Yeah.
you can say whatever you want.
Yes.
Yes.
But the
and he's-
president is. I'm not the president of the United States with executive
So
power
no, okay,
to
so
crack
then
down on
the First
media.
Amendment only applies to the citizens, but not the
I
president
never
of the
said that.
United
In
States.
fact, Donald
then
Trump
he
runs
can
his mouth
say-
more than anyone.
Absolutely, he
Yeah,
does.
and he doesn't
is-
just
he
say
is-
stuff. As I said, he actually does stuff. He actually does crack down. For example, Fifth Amendment.
Yes.
Due process.
Yes,
Judges have actually said you have violated due process.
Yes,
of
except
people
for
on trial.
people kind of forget the Clinton, the 1996 Immigration Reform Act,
Yeah.
where you can get limited due process when you have expedited.
American citizens?
No.
What about American citizens?
Who's getting deported? That's American.
Two American children have been deported multiple this year. Have you not been?
No. Their parents have been deported, and their parents say,
No,
"I'm
the father
going
was
to take
American.
my baby."
No.
Was mom legal?
We don't know because they didn't go to court. And the judge.
They
by
don't
the way,
have to go to
by the way,
court.
yes.
That's
okay.
not a part of the due process.
Are you a lawyer?
I'm very aware of it.
Are you a lawyer?
Do I have to be? Oh, we're making an argument
you a
now
lawyer?
from. We're making.
It's a simple question.
No.
Are you a lawyer?
Okay, we're making an
I'll
argument.
take that as a no. A Trump-appointed judge in the case, not some Marxist lefty judges you
I
people like
don't
to call
care.
them, a Trump-appointed conservative judge said you cannot, it is illegal and unconstitutional to expel or deport an American citizen without meaningful process. He said that in April. So that was an act that Trump
So
did. It wasn't
the
speech.
child-
He got rid of an American citizen from the country without process.
So the
That's the
child-
Fifth Amendment violation.
Since I'm not up to date on that specific
I'll give you
case,
more.
I'm sure you can. So.
Well, you weren't aware that American citizens are being deported. It's a pretty big story.
Yeah, the
Maybe if
child
you
that
read the
probably
fake
went
news,
with
you might know.
Trump. What?
If you read the fake news, you might know what's going on. A lot of
Oh,
American
how would I
citizens
know what's
have
going on
been
if I read
deported.
fake news? I don't watch CNN or Rachel Maddow. Sorry.
That's why you don't know that your fellow citizens have been deported this year.
My fellow citizens.
Are they
no.
not American citizens have been deported?
Okay. When a child goes with their.
All right,
adult-
guys, that's time. Please return to your
Nice to meet
seat.
you.
Nice to meet you.
Before we go any further,
Just, there is a problem, man. We are making not great people these days. All right, I think I will jump cut and record the rest of this tomorrow. All right, it's the next day. I am back. Let's do this.
That immigrants overall are good for America.
Immigrants overall are good for America. So maybe I'm biased because I am an immigrant. I was not born in this country, but I spent the majority of my life here. I moved here when I was 2, and, you know, this is my country, and I feel like, I don't know, that my family and I have been positive contributors to this country. So maybe I'm going to be a little bit biased when I say, yeah, I do think immigrants overall are good for this country. Now, outside of my own just personal anecdotal experience of me being an immigrant, I think that there is a lot of studies and data and whatnot that show that immigration has been and continues to be a net positive for this country. Am I like pro 100% open borders nonstop? I mean, I think our immigration process needs a lot of reform. I think the vast majority of people who want to come here should be allowed to come here. Do I think we literally should just open the gates and say anyone, like if you have like a criminal record of like heinous crimes, yeah, maybe we should restrict people like that to some degree. I don't know if we've deemed you've been rehabilitated or whatever, you haven't committed a crime in X amount of years. I don't know. So I think the data shows it. I think arguments that the right makes against immigration don't hold up to any scrutiny. Let's see where this goes. I'm sure these people back here are going to have sound, reasonable, rational takes on this. She has got something to say about immigrants.
Hi, how are you?
Hello, nice to meet you,
Mehdi.
Daniela. So in regards to your claim, I just want to start by asking this. Do you care more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim?
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and an American.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born here.
That's not true. Where'd you get? What's the basis of your claim for that?
Are you talking about people that get naturalized in the process of becoming
Yes.
American?
14th Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay, yes, I have.
Citizenship clause. It
so
says any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
I'm aware of that.
There's about 40 to 50 million naturalized
I'm
Americans
aware
in
of
this
that.
country.
Yes, but
You didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here we've been also, the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which
Positively, I would argue.
people like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own fields that we go to college for, that we get into debt for. And because more blue...
By the way, this guy's been on Jubilee too. If that other chick I was talking about earlier is like the most evil person ever, this guy, and I mean this, again, no hyperbole, no nothing. This is truly the dumbest human being to ever walk this earth. Whatever dumbass you think you've ever met, you think you've ever heard say anything, this guy clears them by a country fucking mile. I hope he comes up so we can hear some of that glorious, glorious insanity.
Because more blue-collar work, especially in construction, agriculture, and so forth, and the hospitality industry, we cannot get jobs in those fields, so it requires
Are you looking for a
us-
job in construction
I am
or
not,
agriculture?
no. I went
Just
to
checking.
college.
Okay.
Many people here are in college or went to college, but we can't even find jobs in our fields, also because of the H-1B visa program as well. But in regards to just your claim about immigrants specifically, we cannot even get jobs to pay for housing.
Unemployment is at a record low right now, even under Donald Trump. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I would say unemployment under both Biden and Trump has been at record low levels.
Okay, is this in regards for American citizens?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm unaware of that statistic, but from what I see, from what I can
I'm an immigrant and an American, and I employ
Sure.
many
And
American citizens, both naturalized and the ones born here.
And
I employ
my
Americans.
parents came
Americans as defined by you.
My parents came as immigrants to become naturalized, so I'm not necessarily opposed to immigrants.
So you're the child of immigrants.
Correct. I'm a child of immigrants. I was born
But you don't
here.
accept that immigrants are Americans.
Not at this moment.
So your
because-
parents are not Americans.
Not at this moment.
So hold
no,
on, your parents are
they're
not Americans.
citizens. They became naturalized.
You just said you can't be citizens by being naturalized.
No, I was born here, and I'm not
Yeah,
opposed
you're born
to
here, right?
naturalization. I
But
never
are your
said that I'm
parents-
against
Are
naturalization.
you against naturalization?
No, I never said I was against
You did.
naturalization.
You began. You're very. Everyone was here. They can play it back on YouTube. You said Americans or immigrants. Are your parents Americans or immigrants?
No, my parents are United States citizens.
But they're immigrants. You said.
No, they came here as immigrants. However, but
So they
I
are
want to make the
immigrants.
claim
You
that
said,
we cannot
I came
even,
here as an immigrant. I'm
but
an immigrant.
at this point, when they came, the
I
United,
think
the
that people
United
aren't
States
happy with the
economy,
way this is going for you.
the United States economy was not at.
It's better now. The American economy is better than it's been
Not
for
from
many
the-
years.
not from the
And I can say
statistics
that
I
as
see.
someone who
We
doesn't
have-
like Donald Trump.
We're
Which
giving
statistics
millions
are you
and
seeing?
billions of dollars
Which
to
statistics
people
are you
of,
seeing?
minorities as well as
The reason the
immigrants.
economy is doing badly now is
That
because
we
Donald
can't-
Trump's
that we're giving
tariff
it to
policy.
loans. We can't
Nothing
even
to
get
do with
businesses.
migrants. In fact, the
We can't
congressional.
even start businesses.
I'm an immigrant. I started a business. In
No,
fact,
I
in
understand
fact,
because the SBA
immigrants
is
are-
giving people
immigrants-
billions
I didn't
of
take any
loans.
loans
They're giving
from
them
SBA.
billions.
I didn't take any loans
I'm not
from
saying
SBA.
you did, but I'm
Okay, well,
saying
I'm
that
saying I did.
statistically speaking, they're giving billions of
So
loans
should we
to
do
these people.
statistics? According to statistics, immigrants are 80% more likely to be entrepreneurs than native-born Americans.
Sure,
They're more likely
absolutely.
to start
No,
businesses
I'm aware of
and
that.
hire Americans.
An MIT study found that immigrants are 80% more likely to start a business compared to U.S.-born
I'm
citizens.
aware
Right,
of that.
immigrants
but
are
we
more
also-
likely to pay in taxes than
Yeah.
take out in benefits.
And
They're more likely to add to innovation and jobs and wages. This is what the statistics show. The Congressional
yeah, I
Budget Office.
understand- I
Let me just finish my
understand
point and
that.
let you come back
Okay,
in.
go
The
ahead.
Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats both use it. They have said that the immigration surge that you mentioned will lead to an extra
The Congressional Budget Office projects that the immigration surge during the Biden administration will add $8.9 trillion to the GDP through 2034.
$9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Okay, I
All
understand
right,
that, but
pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your
Nice
seat.
to meet you.
nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey, how's it
Bro
going?
was
I'm Eddie.
charging
Nice to
up.
meet you. All right, so first, before I start, I need to know what you mean by good. I can talk about the economy, I can talk about culture, I can talk
Great.
about all those things. I need
All
to
of
know
them.
what you mean.
All of them.
All of them.
I'm saying immigrants are good for the economy. They're good for
think lower
culture.
wages are
they're
good for the
for
economy?
society. Where's the lower wages?
What do you mean? Where's the lower wages?
Where are the lower wages?
Yeah, so you can
What's
look
the
at the-
basis for saying there are lower wages?
Sure. So you can look at like the STEM industry. It's been in like a complete and total recession. There's been tons of studies like from the Economic Policy Institute that shows that like companies like Tesla, companies from like Silicon Valley, they engaged in mass firing of workers, around 35,000, but then they hired around 12,000 H-1B visas. And it's kind of just standard economic thinking. If you
It's not standard economic thinking. The vast
okay.
majority of economists and economic studies suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time.
That's not-
for
that's just-
immigrants.
that's
In
just-
fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction,
Correct.
there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries, in some areas, there is an impact. But overall, no. In fact, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that migrants since 1965 have raised wages
Who's that
and
by?
raised innovation.
Who's that by?
productivity. National Bureau for Economic Research.
No, hold on. That's where you publish studies. I'm asking
Yes,
for
I
the
didn't
author.
memorize the names of the authors.
Yeah, I know you didn't.
Can
Right?
you
It's
give
from-
me the authors you've got?
Yeah, hold on. The study you're talking about is from Giovanni Perry, and what he did is he didn't account for aggregation issues, nor did
The
he.
vast majority of
Hold on,
studies-
let me speak,
Please.
Yeah, thank you. Right. So listen, he didn't account for aggregation issues, right? And when you look at like the spatial approach, which is what all these economists use, you're not accounting for the fact that when immigrants come into an area, natives leave. If you look at an occupational approach, where you look at the specific firms that immigration is going into, like Kim ETAL 2013 did, you find a net negative.
Dude, you can just tell this guy knows nothing, right? There is nothing going on in that guy's brain. However, when he needs to pull out some bullshit about why immigrants are bad for this country, he is like Wikipedia. That is so funny to me.
Impact when there's a 10% increase of immigration, you find around a 0.5% decline in.
Like, ask this guy, I don't know, what a prime number is. Like, ask him anything outside of, like, his right-wing ideology, right? Anything outside of trying to defend xenophobic beliefs, racist beliefs. I know this guy will not be able to do anything. But the racist, xenophobic talking points, he's got him down pat. That is amazing.
Wages when it comes to the specific occupations they're going to.
So
all your studies are flawed.
So 0.5%. Weigh that up against what I just mentioned from the Congressional Budget Office, which is a massive boost in GDP per head, which you're not counting.
We could fact check this. That feels like a lot of work. I usually fact check shit like this. I think I'm going to skip it this time. One, because this is an extremely long video. So I'm going to give you kind of my gut feeling. Having debunked right-wing beliefs a trillion times over, I just have kind of a sense for these things. Maybe I'm wrong. But my sense is, given how vociferously he's attacking that study's author, how he knew exactly what he was talking about, I'm presuming false pretenses here.
For massive increase in tax revenue, immigrants actually funding the deficits and debts by paying way more in taxes proportionately, including undocumented immigrants. And what's interesting about wages is, I'm in a room full of, I don't know what to call it.
I know what you're talking about. Dude, when you are just clearly the dumb guy of the group, but you know every xenophobic, racist talking point, that's a problem. Come on.
Anymore. Conservatives, Republicans, fascists, I don't know. One of you has proudly said
You
that.
can call us correct.
One of
That's
us
what you can
proudly.
call
Oh,
us.
yeah, correct.
Correct.
I'm in a room full of correct people, but do any of you actually care
What a
about wages?
prick.
Because, for
Yeah, I
example,
actually do,
For example,
right?
do you support raising the minimum wage?
Absolutely, and you can't do that when you're bringing all these people
So
coming into
that's
our
not
country.
the reason the
Yes,
Republican
it
Party
is.
blocks the minimum wage. You think Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration?
Did I
We have
say
not
I
had
voted
an
Republican?
increase.
Did I say
We've
I voted
not-
Republican?
Well, I'm in a show that was called 25.
Oh no. He's another guy who's like, dude, the Republicans are just too liberal. There are some insane people. I mean, y'all know my opinion. If you're voting for Republicans in this country, there's a problem. If you're voting for centrist, center-right, Democrat, liberals, that's also a big problem, in my opinion. But dude, the fact that there are so many people in this country who the Republican Party, a far-right party at this point, is too left-leaning, that's terrifying. That is not a good sign for the future of our country, for the collective IQ of our country. This shit sucks so much, man. Sorry to our kids and grandkids and great-grandkids who are gonna have a fucking cooked, unlivable planet to live on because we had to give dumbasses like this the time of day. If you're watching this in 2100, inexplicably, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some of us tried. I'm sorry. These guys somehow were too tough for us to beat. Ay, ay, ay.
Far-right Republicans.
That doesn't mean I'm going to support every single Republican
candidate.
candidate.
So you and I,
Yeah,
let's agree. We both support raising the minimum wage. Yes?
100%.
$7.25 since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value.
100%.
If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of low wages in the country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires.
Fuck yeah, Mehdi.
Yeah, and people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a native.
I get the
born
monologue,
American.
right? Now let me respond.
You had one. You had one with your
but-
one study that had a 0.5% impact. Go.
Yeah, and your study sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So let's get back to the point,
because,
right?
Because I don't need
and
to
there
know
it
one
goes
study.
again.
The majority of studies say that wages are not impacted
The
by
majority of your
migration over
studies
time.
are flawed. That's what I'm
They're
telling
not
you.
my studies.
Right.
Neither of us are economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But
right?
are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm going to major in economics, right?
Are you an economist?
No, not right now.
Okay, so when I said neither is economist, I was correct.
Just don't assume.
To use your
things.
favorite word.
See here, dude, this is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags.
He's like, bro, did you just assume my profession? Others have commented on this, but it is funny how, like, Republicans and the modern conservative movement have become, like, the annoying 2015, 2016 libs in a lot of ways.
Coming up, let me get
That's
to the point.
great, but
so
you're
when you
not an
talk about
economist.
when you talk about the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? Do you know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment
Do I
was
know
like
what it means? I thought we're not doing assumptions.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned we were like at like 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting
That's how
poverty
it's
wages.
always been counted.
Yeah,
I'm against poverty wages.
You
Can we
won't let
agree
me
again?
Yes. If you go to like the Logood Institute, they calculated a way where it's like functional unemployment. Okay. If you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part time, if you count all of those,
it's so funny. It's so funny that, like, yeah, and Mehdi's here too. It's just like, yes, poverty wages are bad. This is bad. That's bad. Yes, yes, yes. This is why some leftists are like, is there like class consciousness that like that can be untapped? It's like that, like the diamond mine meme. Like we're like so close and we're like turning around to leave, right? Is there something that we can like tap into? Because it's like, yeah, your conclusion is right. Wages suck. Everything sucks. The problem is they will blame anyone but the capital owners, the billionaires who take that money off the top, the middlemen like insurance companies who stand in the way of giving us all healthcare because they lobby our politicians to not vote for universal healthcare. They will blame anyone but the people who are actually fucking us over. The billionaires, the millionaires, the neoliberal capital-owning class. It's immigrants that you got to focus on. It's one trans kid in Oklahoma who, like, it's ridiculous. So why is this happening? I mean, it's again, like I always say, it's not just one thing. For some of these guys, it is just racism, xenophobia. They don't like hearing other languages. They don't like seeing people who look a little bit different than them or perhaps act a little bit different from them. So they channel that, you know, slight discomfort from hearing new voices, hearing new accents, seeing new types of people. They channel that into blood-boiling hatred. There's no logic to it. These arguments don't hold up to any scrutiny. From some of them, they are just falling victim to propaganda. They're watching things like Fox News or other conservative media who hyper-focus on things like migrant crime, you know, crimes committed by immigrants, which is true. Immigrants would 100% commit crimes. No one on the left is saying immigrants don't commit crimes. It just so happens that the data shows they commit crimes at lower rates, including undocumented immigrants, than US-born citizens. But because every week, you know, there's millions of immigrants, of course you're going to find one or two every month that maybe have committed a heinous crime. Those news outlets, Fox News, Ben Shapiro, all of them, will hyper-focus on those individual anecdotes of, let's say, a crime committed by an undocumented migrant, let's say, and build a narrative to make you think this is some systemic problem that it just fucking isn't. No, I mean, the reality is there's no logic to like racism and shit. And I hate to sound libbed up or like a Reddit atheist or something, but like I think it is true to some degree that it is very difficult to logic someone out of an opinion they didn't logic themselves into. And I think that's a lot of what's happening fucking in America and the world today.
People together, and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25% of the population. So when you go, we don't have jobs, we don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay, we don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in, and they're taking those jobs.
The good job shortage is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer, I can say that.
Who hires the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrants?
Yeah.
Employers?
Exactly. So when you bring up these big firms,
okay, so
that's the
let me
way
ask
they
you,
keep
let me
wages
ask you
down.
a
You
question.
understand that, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you think that Republicans and employers of big firms would suddenly raise all the wages?
You notice
That's
how
what
you
you
didn't answer
believe.
what I said. You
That's
notice
what
how
you
it
believe.
was a complete. Your ankles
That's what
all
you
right?
believe.
You pivoted the hell
That's what
away
you
from the
believe.
conversation.
Is that what you? I'm
Are
on the
your ankles
subject.
okay?
Do you believe that wages? I'm just wondering how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage
They will
if
be
we
forced
stop
to.
immigration?
They will be forced to. When you increase labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're tightening the supply of labor.
This is a very simplistic understanding of economics because you're
okay,
not,
explain I'm wrong.
I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're.
For a minute, I was like, is he going to start advocating that we unionize or something? Sure. But why can't, like, we have immigrants who come in and unionize and get good pay for themselves. Look, man, economy scale, right? The more people we have, the more need for other types of jobs there will be. He's talking about the relationship between labor and capital. Like, for a second, he sounded like a leftist theory nerd. Hold on, I want to run it back.
Ignore how naive you are. You believe that the 1% will raise wages in the federal wage if we stop immigration.
They will be forced to. When you increase labor's relationship to capital, okay, and you give labor more bargaining power because you're tightening the supply of labor.
This is a very simplistic understanding of economics because you're.
Okay, explain it.
So he's saying tightening the supply of labor gives labor more bargaining power? Okay. Maybe he's not the untapped leftist. He almost sounded like...
Wrong. I'm telling you how you're wrong. Because you're ignoring the fact that when immigrants come into an area, they spend money. They create jobs through their presence.
1/5 of their monthly income leaves the country.
That's a good thing also because you don't like US aid, foreign aid. So this is the point. They create jobs. I came into this country. So far, every one of my assumptions about you has been correct. But listen to me. I am an immigrant. I'm speaking from personal experience.
Get the hell out.
I don't even like... I should get the hell out.
Yes.
Why?
I don't want you here.
Why?
Because you come here and say all this bullshit
Why?
about how Americans are lazy.
Why?
You push your left-wing
I never
politics.
said Americans are lazy.
I don't know why you say this.
I never said Americans
yes,
are lazy.
You are.
The only person
You're saying
attacking
immigrants
people
have to
is
come
you.
into this country so they can do jobs that we don't want to do. That's
I never
exactly
said those
what
words.
you said.
When did I say it?
Oh, really?
When did I say it? We're on
why
YouTube. Guys watching on YouTube, rewind to the time where I said immigrants are doing jobs we don't want to do. When did I say those words? Words never came out of my mouth.
Okay, so why do we have to bring...
He said, get out of here. Dude, you get out of here, man. What the fuck?
Why do we have to bring in immigrants? Why do we have to bring in immigrants to the country if we have people who are going to do the jobs?
Pause. You've been voted out.
It's nice talking to you.
Nice talking to you.
You're going to have to go.
Nice talking to you.
Did he just say you're gonna have to go? What a fucking piece of shit moron. Just fucking disgusting shit from the modern conservative movement, man. Fuck you.
You're gonna have to go, bro, is what he said as I left to an American citizen. Good to know where you stand on immigration. It's not about immigration, is it? That's what it's not about.
These people are fucking freaks. Speaking of which,
hey, how you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Good to see you. How are you?
Not bad. So
this is a guy who's come up, on Twitter. His drip has been the point of conversation, right? Okay, I gotta pull up some of these. One of the ones I saw was like, he's just come here from like tying a woman to like a railroad track or something. If you eat 30 Benadryls at once, this guy shows up. No way, they found Waluigi Mangione. My nemesis, we meet again. You know as well as I do that there is no such thing as coincidence. One thing I've learned seeing all the clips from that Jubilee is that right-wingers don't actually want to debate. They want to be the bad guys. They think it's powerful to be a bad guy. It's all a fantasy to them, and that's why there is no chance of ever reaching them. What do you think about this, conservatives? Do you want to be the bad guy? I get a lot of viewers who, self-identify as conservatives. In your head, do you think you are one of the bad guys in our history right now? Or do you think you are taking the as close as you personally can assess, you personally can determine the maximalist moral decision in all of your political beliefs? All right, let's check this guy out.
What type of immigrants are we talking about?
What do you mean?
Like any immigrants or
immigrants? That's what I said. Immigrants
are illegal
overall.
immigrants.
Undocumented immigrants also contribute
Illegal.
greatly to the U.S. I say undocumented. I don't think people are illegal.
So let's put it this way. I mean, I'm an immigrant too, from Iran.
Okay.
There isn't even
How
a
do you
U.S.
feel about the fact that people here want you out? Are you okay with that?
I'm here to debate you, not debate them.
I mean, you're all on the same side. You're part of one group.
No.
You've been clapping each other.
No, I mean, there are conservatives here, there are far-right people here, there are Republicans
But how
here.
do you feel about that guy wanting me and you to leave?
But, let's
I'm just wondering. Wait, this is the topic of immigration.
It's not
how
about
do you feel about the guy?
It's not about my feelings towards them.
Okay.
It's about staying on this topic.
Okay.
And
Immigrants are good for America, yeah. You and me, we're good for America. And the guy over there wants us to leave. So I'm just wondering how you feel about that.
So I believe that there has to be a strict...
Answer the question, you fucking pussy-ass bitch. Answer the question, how do you feel that the people who happen to share probably at least most of your views want you gone because of the way you sound, the color of your skin? I mean, let's be real. As scientifically xenophobic as you want to get, like that previous frat bro with the pink shirt, that is all a plaster, right? Anyone can see beyond that. That's not what it's about. If it was, you would seriously engage with the reality that, again, the facts, the statistics, the studies, whatever, don't show that immigrants are some massive net negative to the country. You would have to accept that, you just kind of don't like hearing other accents, don't like seeing a skin color that's different, don't like hearing other languages. You would have to be resigned to the fact that this is arbitrary from your perspective. Truly arbitrary, which is something people don't want to do. Do you want to know how I know this? Because I used to be like that. I used to have right-wing beliefs, reactionary beliefs when I was younger, when I was a teenager. I was a pretty conservative teenager. So I know the types of mental gymnastics you need to do to justify reactionary beliefs. One of these days, I will tell my whole story. I've gotten a few people who want to know it. One of these days, I will tell my whole story of who I was when I was more conservative and how I eventually stopped being like that. But long story short, all of my reactionary beliefs on all of the things that I had shitty opinions on were from a place of just, they're literally, basically, they're just kind of different from me. They're just not something I quite understand. So it must be bad. Like, if I'm being totally honest with myself, there was absolutely no logic to why 17-year-old me was transphobic. None. No logic. I just didn't know any trans people, and on the surface, it sounded kind of weird. That was it. And I was incredibly transphobic. Incredibly transphobic. I was homophobic in a lot of ways. I was pretty racist as a teenager. I don't know how else to put it. I was super reactionary. I could have been on this panel if if I continued on that path and I was 10 years older. But I'm telling you, straight up, having been this person before, that there is no logic to their beliefs. I'm curious other people who got out of this. Did what I say there make sense? Were your reactionary beliefs that you had just not tied to anything real and just tied to, one, not understanding not truly understanding the thing that you didn't like, and two, not liking it mostly because it was just different? Anyway, I'm really grateful I managed to get out of it. I obviously hope that everyone in this room somehow gets out of this. Anyway.
Immigration laws.
Okay.
We have to make sure that the people are coming here have the good intent of the United States in mind.
That's not my claim, but okay.
So
my claim is about immigrants are net positive.
If you just open our borders to every single person
No one
that wants
calls
to
for
be
open
here,
borders.
that claims that they have economical hardship in their country.
Who's calling for open borders?
No, I'm just saying,
It's a straw man, so you're just saying a straw man.
No, I'm saying
You're
that
wasting time with a straw man. No one's calling for open borders. I didn't call for open borders.
You wasted
I said
time.
immigrants who.
You wasted time trying to cause division between me and my friends
division.
over
He
here.
wants you to leave the country. That's a pretty big deal.
All right.
I mean, you can ignore
Like
it,
you
but
said,
that's your side, my friend.
Like I said,
You
you were
made
the
your
one
bet.
that tried to derail this argument.
Derail?
By bringing that.
It's
Even
literally
though we're
core to my
trying
argument. I'm saying immigrants.
Dude. It's a one sentence, like 3-word answer. What, like, real quick? Hey, what do you think about how everyone in this room hates your guts because you have an accent and your skin is a different color? How do you reconcile that? Just tell me. The reason he's being so defensive and not giving the again, like 3-word answer of like, I don't care, or I'm one of the good ones, or just some answer. It's because he has no answer. There is no logic to it. He knows the type of racism and xenophobia fucking backwards hack guy over there has is not logical. But because they're on the same side, he can't attack them. One, I don't want to go like full pick me. He wants to look good to these people, so he can't tell them, you're stupid for wanting me gone.
To go to America, people on your side are saying we should leave. Not me.
And
me and
I
you.
asked you, what type of immigrants are we talking about? Are we
Immigrants
talking about
overall.
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 So
I mean, we're not gonna.
So
you want
believe,
to want me to get into like particular communities? I'm not playing that
So
game.
you believe that people that come here without
Overall,
any
help
respect,
the society.
without any respect to our laws and our border, are going to be good for this country?
No, of course not.
So you can't say that all immigrants overall.
I never said all immigrants.
Well,
I said immigrants overall. Immigrants overall doesn't mean all immigrants. Sorry to break that to you.
All right. So we have to make sure that the people are coming here have the good intent of this country in mind. Agreed?
Yes.
All right,
Irrelevant
good.
to my claim.
But when you have undocumented immigration going on, you can't vet that. You can't make sure about that.
So make immigration easier. God.
Real quick, talk about, my background.
One of these days, dude, my family's story of immigrating into this country is a pretty incredible one. Someday, I will need to, get a recording of my mom telling that story because, and she recently told me this a couple weeks ago, because it is a truly wild story with about 1 million lottery ticket winning miracles happening in succession for us to become citizens of this country, for us to get into this country and become citizens of this country. It was all 100% legal for those who care, but it involved a lot of miracles that, frankly, I don't think people should have to go through to become Americans like me. Anyway.
There's no American embassy in Iran. So in order to come here, you have to stay in line for 4 years, and you have to go through some serious vetting procedure to get here. But I made it. And that process has to be in place because, you don't want terrorists to fill this country.
I made it too.
Yeah, okay, bruv. Let's actually fund good immigration enforcement. More people to screen, more immigration lawyers, rather than making ICE the 3rd biggest military on the planet by budget now. That is not a made-up fact, by the way. Not including our regular military spending. ICE alone is the 3rd most well-funded military in the fucking planet.
American citizen. I went through lots of vetting. I took my test.
And that's how
the guy
it
over
should
there
be.
wants us to leave.
But
he wants us to leave.
When people
don't really care about vetting, do they? But it's not really about vetting, is it, my friend?
People should not have
You're in
the
denial.
right. People should not have the right to ignore our borders and our laws.
What about those of us who
here.
don't ignore the borders? Should we get to stay?
Of course.
But he says we shouldn't.
Well, I'm not debating him.
You kind of are because you're all together on this.
No, I'm debating you.
Okay. And I'm pointing out to you that your argument is in bad faith because these guys are actually speaking the truth and you're in denial about who's on your side. He wants you gone.
I never claimed that I'm on their side or they're on my side.
Okay.
I'm here to debate you.
All right, pause.
Oh, this guy was kind of cute. I don't want to open this guy's Twitter or Instagram and just find out he's super evil. I know he's dressed like a super villain or whatever. He was kind of cute in a, dumb puppy dog kind of way. Everyone in this room is a monumental dumbass. He is clearly no exception, but there was an innocence to him, whereas this guy's pure, unadulterated madness and evil. This guy was kind of cute, right? Everyone dunking on him on Twitter. He was kind of cute.
You've been voted out by the majority. Please
Thank
return
you,
to your seat.
Nice to meet you. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mehdi.
Edwin,
Nice to meet you.
The question is, immigration is good for America, right?
overall. If you look at the net positives to things like our society, our culture, our food, our economy, our general diversity, I know the
This guy's like, I have never eaten at a Taco Bell.
I know the D word is a bad word in places like this. I think immigrants have been a net positive. I think if you look at your everyday lives, we all benefit from immigration.
And what kind of conservatives disagree with that?
The guy, some of the guys who told me to leave this place and go back to. You know.
What? This entire room. This entire room is like, me. I'm that kind of conservative. What? Like, this guy literally flung his flag up. Probably not even trying to vote him out, just trying to be like me. Me, I literally think you guys should not be in this country right now.
I'm not a citizen.
That's
Do you
so
think
funny.
all conservatives?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, in fact, Ronald Reagan, who's a president I wasn't a big fan of until Donald Trump came along. Now people like Reagan look good in comparison. Reagan said in 1986, our country is a nation of immigrants. Our immigrant heritage is our strength. He gave an amnesty to 3 million undocumented migrants. He understood the value of immigration. So I'm with Reagan.
Yeah,
Although
I'm
this
with
guy's
Reagan.
putting his thumb down there. So
I'm with
Reagan's not
Reagan,
popular in right-wing crowds these days.
Yeah. Well, he's popular with me.
Good to hear.
He
I'm
nods.
a deferred action.
Bro, Reagan is too much of a liberal.
Of childhood arrivals. I was an illegal immigrant myself. I came here when I was 10. I'm what you would call a legal alien now.
Okay, so it sucks that for so many, especially reactionaries, right? They need to experience it themselves before they'll care about something. You're going to be horrifically anti-LGBTQ until you have a gay kid. And suddenly you're kind of cool with them. It's very common. Obviously, many conservatives don't end up loving their gay and queer children, but it is often a way for conservatives to warm up to the existence of queer people if one of their children end up being queer, because it breaks down all of the dumb, shitty conspiracy theories you have about queer people, right? Like your son's gay, your daughter's gay, and then you're like, but I didn't teach them anything about being gay. They didn't know gay people existed till they turned 15. None of the things that I conspiratorially think need to happen to you in order to become gay happened to my kid. Oh, maybe those were lies. Maybe you can just be gay sometimes. That's very common with right-wingers, with reactionaries, right? It needs to happen to them personally before they care, before they understand it. So yeah, this guy is unfortunately still a conservative, but he's probably more lenient or easy on immigration than a lot of these people in the room because he experienced it. If you got that horrific piece of shit frat bro to go through what this guy went through, he'd probably also feel the same way.
I didn't have any say on my parents' choices.
Yes.
Do I think that they were well-meaning by wanting to bring me over for a better future? Absolutely. I believe that.
Yeah.
Did they break the law? Yes. Do I agree with people breaking the law? Not necessarily. Do I think that there's a...
It's like, is this the first time bro has ever thought about any of this? I don't know, man. I cannot just not see that a huge core tenet of what it takes to be a conservative today is just not knowing things. In layman's terms, just being kind of a dumbass. I'm sorry. I'm not saying every liberal's smart. I'm not saying every left is smart. I'm not saying I'm smart. It's that like expression, right? Like you think of the average American and how dumb they are. And I would consider perhaps myself to be an average American in terms of quote unquote intelligence. Half of them have to be dumber than that. Okay? And I'm not saying the half on the other side are particularly smart either. I think we're all dumb. Some of us are clearly dumber than others. That's my point. Again, maybe it's me. I'm more than open to it being me.
Ever a situation where you can break the law for the better or the greater good? Immigration is it's an interesting issue because I do agree with you that
good to hear.
Everyone is an immigrant in the sense like. Can you tell me a little bit more about your journey?
I've been here 10 years. I'm a proud American citizen. I'm a dual national. I'm British. I'm American.
They're like, dude, you are being too human and kind and empathetic and trying to legitimately understand what's going on here, we need to get you the fuck out immediately. You are not being racist enough.
And I am an immigrant who's contributing to this country. So, yes, I'm very much proud of America's immigrant heritage. I'm part of it. And despite what one of the other people said on this show earlier, everyone here, unless you're Native American,
All right,
is a descendant of
pause.
immigrants.
Sorry, you've been voted out.
course.
Please return to your seat.
Thank you, man.
Nice to meet you.
Like, that guy could be saved. Of all the people in this room, that guy and the Iranian guy, maybe they could be saved. I don't know what it would take. Something to break the dam. Something to bring this reactionary house of cards, this enormous lack of logic to everything they believe. Something needs to bring it down. That's kind of what happened to me. For me, there was a big house of card, like one card that, like, oh shit, that collapsed basically everything in terms of my reactionary beliefs almost overnight. Maybe there's that for everyone. That's another question for you. If you used to be more conservative, if you had more reactionary beliefs, what got you out of it? Was it kind of one big thing, kind of like me, or was it maybe more of a gradual thing? I'm curious.
How's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Actually a fan. I see you a lot on Piers Morgan.
Okay, thank you for watching.
Yeah. So my argument is that Americans are what is a nation? A nation is a geographical location full of people who have some things in common. So I think some of the things typically in history are going to be like race, religion, ethnicity, language. These are some of the things that we have to have in common in order to actually have a functioning civilization, especially in self-government. I'm not necessarily a giant fan of self-government. I'm a Catholic nationalist. I'm not a fascist. You have to have at least some things in common in order to
Agreed.
actually have a civilization. And the immigrants, especially illegal immigrants that come into this country now, disrespect us. They hate everything that we believe. They don't even speak our language. I watched after Trump got elected,
Dude. Forget being a dumbass. That's reductive as always. I know it's reductive. The reality is, reactionary beliefs are just based on false pretenses. My lord.
an interview of an illegal alien woman crying and about getting deported, and the entire interview was in Spanish. That is a spit in the face. It's disrespect. They don't care about us. They abuse our system.
So
and
you've gone from a teleological argument into just a bunch of series of wild, unsubstantiated
Well, I'm asking
claims.
you, what is
I don't accept any of those claims. That they hate everything we stand for, and I don't accept. Well, I'm not going to deal with the teleology. I'm going to deal with the false claims that you made. There's no bait. What's your bait?
False pretenses. 100% of the modern conservative movement is based on false pretenses. 100% of it.
Basis for saying that all immigrants or all undocumented immigrants hate everything we stand for. It's funny that you said you're a Catholic nationalist. How did most Catholics get to America? Irish Catholics, Italian Catholics. Immigration. Much of the people coming across the southern border are Catholics.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
So it's really funny that you say you're a Catholic nationalist, but Catholics came to America via immigration.
Yeah, so
immigration is good for America. You and I can agree. Otherwise, people of your faith wouldn't be here.
No, we were here on this side of the world, in this continent, from conquest. We came over here, and
but the big surges of numbers, as you well know, because you're a smart guy, Italian, Irish immigration waves, Catholic immigration waves.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not even.
Are you
claiming,
against those?
I'm not even.
Were
claiming,
you against those? If you were alive,
I'm
then?
not even claiming that
'Cause
immigration
a lot of people
is
were
bad.
against those.
I'm not claiming immigration is bad in all cases at all times.
What is your claim?
My claim is that immigration, especially now, and especially for foreign people that have nothing in common with us,
it's funny that you say it's especially
a negative
now.
thing.
I've forgotten your name. My apologies. Brian.
Yeah, how many
in every era there has been a Brian who says, "I'm not against immigration, just immigration now."
Okay.
This is what people said about Italians. It's what people said
That's
about Irish folks.
unfortunate,
Said about Russians, Poles, and now we're saying about
why
people
should
coming
I care
across the
about
southern
that?
border. Because you're not being, you're being a little disingenuous, saying I'm only against immigrants now. This is a trope.
How's that disingenuous?
This is because it's a trope that's been used by nativists throughout American history, and every wave of immigrants has come in and faced the same hate and animus and bigotry and lazy trope, and every wave of immigrants immigration has ultimately
Well, I think-
assimilated, integrated, benefited the
let me
country. In
make
fact,
a-
assimilation right now, according to Jacob Victor from the University of Washington, assimilation rates based on language and citizenship and naturalization are higher now than 100 years ago.
Okay, let me make a statement first. I think that you in
You
your
ignored
own
my statement, but okay.
you and your own person are a complete perfect example of why immigration is negative and why we shouldn't allow people
Wow.
who
Why?
don't have anything in
Why?
common with us. You're pro-abortion. You're pro-euthanasia. You're pro.
I'm
you're
pro-euthanasia? I thought
Yeah,
that-
you went. Yeah, I've seen your stuff. You've defended
I'm
euthanasia.
pro-euthanasia?
Yeah, on Piers Morgan.
No, I've never discussed euthanasia
well,
with Piers Morgan in my life.
Okay, so my point is that you don't agree.
Actually,
with
You're pro-abortion. You have nothing in common with us. You're pro-abortion. Literally, a policy that the majority of Americans support, by the way. What a fucking moron. Holy shit.
Guy
founders of
here,
this country.
if anyone watching at home, I'm the only guy here who actually supports American values, democracy, free speech, the Constitution. I've
Yeah.
got folks here telling me
Why-
they don't believe in democracy, that they're nationalists.
Wait, why should we care about that? By the way, Like,
Isn't that what America stands for? What does America
No,
stand
no,
for?
why-
so
why-
you hate what America stands for, not
No,
me.
I'm not even
And in
saying-
fact, all the studies show that immigrants actually are more patriotic
So the only reason,
than
the only,
native-born
re- the, only,
Americans.
the only reason why, yeah, that's the Mexicans in LA right now burning it down, waving Mexican flags.
LA's being burned
please,
down?
Please don't send us back to the country that we're waiting.
False pretenses. You cannot be a conservative without having every one of your beliefs be based on lies, infactualities, and false pretenses. Holy shit.
I've been in LA for a few days. I didn't see anything burned down.
Yeah, I know the
Where?
riots have ended. That's because Trump sent.
But if
in
it's
the
burned down,
military.
where's it all burned down? I haven't seen
They
it. I've
firebombed
traveled around all of
cars.
LA.
They
You said
firebombed
LA was
Waymos.
burned down. LA
Yeah,
is
it's a
500
figure
square
of
miles.
speech.
It's
Yeah,
not a figure
I'm
of speech,
saying-
actually. It's
yeah, I'm
another
saying
false
that they're
claim of
burning.
yours.
No, they're burning
I support
buildings.
euthanasia. LA's burned to the ground.
Bro, just
Immigrants
listen,
hate what we stand
relax.
for.
Okay, so
I'm super
so
relaxed.
you're pro-abortion.
But you're just saying one false thing after
no,
another.
So you're pro-abortion,
And I'm
right?
standing by my position. Immigrants are good
You're
for it.
pro-abortion. You're an immigrant.
I'm
Where's
pro
the-
Roe v. Wade.
Yeah,
Personally,
where-
I'm not pro-abortion. If you knew anything about me, you know.
Roe v. Wade is.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I was going to say nice to meet you, Brian, but I guess not. You made it.
Great to
Nice
see
to meet you,
you.
Mandy.
My name is Cyrus.
Nice to meet you, Cyrus.
I am also son of 2 immigrants, came in legally. I'm also Persian descent.
Fantastic.
Born in LA.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Terangelis.
Yes, yes. Well, I am mainly upset, not at the immigrants, legal or not. I'm mainly upset at Wall Street. I'm mainly upset at the
Same.
elites, the special interests.
I'm with you.
They are the main reason why we've been having this issue since 1965. And I most want to do well. There are a few bad apples, we can agree. Okay. But we want to go after the elites. They are the main
I agree.
cause of the problem.
Love it.
And just like
with you.
health.
Dude. Can we like horseshoe theory the far right, like somehow break through into like leftist thought somehow? Like, yes, obviously they're the ones who are causing all of our problems, the ultra rich, not the immigrant. Let's see where this goes, because you just know it's gonna fucking break down.
Care, trade,
I'm with you.
everything.
Did you
It's
know,
the-
Cyrus, that the top 1% dodge $163 billion in taxes every
A 2021 Treasury Department report stated that the top 1% of earners dodge $163 billion in tax payments each year. A separate report found undocumented immigrants paid $96 billion in federal state tax is in 2022.
every year, while undocumented people pay $100 billion in tax. So
Well,
I know where my anger is against.
There are issues with our tax system on the rich, but in a state like California, some taxes are too high. I used to live here,
It's a
now I
different
live
debate.
in Las Vegas.
Different debate.
Okay.
I'm saying
but
immigration is good for
it depends
America.
on the
People
tax.
Dude, like, you're not going to get a progressive or a leftist who thinks that even in these blue states, taxes are handled correctly. From the perspective of, like, progressives and leftists, like, on the ground, yeah, we're frustrated with the Democratic Party. We don't think they have working class interests in mind. We certainly don't think the solutions offered up by the right are the right solutions. But yeah, the Democrats suck too, blue states. Like, I would probably rather live in a blue state than a red state, but, like, I've got plenty of disagreements with my representative, certainly. There is a lot that I like about my state government, but, again, the big one for me, like, tackling the power of the ultra-rich over our lives That's something that neither party is really doing effectively.
You and me overall are good for America, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but depends on how it's done.
Yes.
It depends on how it's
And
done.
how it's been done for
so
the US has
I'm
been-
not blaming the housing crisis on immigrants,
No, and you'd be
not
wrong
on
too.
wages,
And you'd be
but
wrong too.
in a state like California that doesn't build enough homes
Yep.
and they're bringing immigrants in, you have to increase supply of housing.
agree.
Okay,
I agree.
but this is where our anger is at the political class.
I agree.
The Democrat Party used to have a different stance on immigration 15 years ago. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not here to defend different Democrats. What I will say
Okay,
is
well,
that,
that's our anger,
What I will
Max.
say is that everyone here actually does.
And once again, any anger a conservative should have towards Democrats, you should be 10 to 15,000 times more angry at the Republicans, man. Holy shit.
Think immigration is good for America. Everyone here uses an iPhone designed by an immigrant, is on Gmail
Fair
designed
point.
by an immigrant, is is on a YouTube
Someone make that soy jack right now.
show.
But
You
this
guys
is-
all came to a YouTube show
Yeah.
founded by an immigrant. You wouldn't
Fair
be
point,
here.
but that's
if it
a
wasn't for
tiny
an immigrant.
minority,
So
though.
you all love immigrants, whether you like it or not.
Okay, but it is a taboo subject. Should we be concerned about the demographics? So,
No.
Anglo-Saxon, European American, 0% of America, it doesn't matter.
Are they 0% of America?
Well, let's say if it becomes 0%, it should not worry.
They're not going to. Why are you bringing weird hypotheticals?
But there has to. But I mean, they're still part of our country. There's culture. There's.
Yeah.
I mean, even Britain. Like,
I mean,
it
America's gone through
concerns
many
me.
demographic
But it
waves,
concerns me when Britain is changing,
Britain
and
is-
it's it's like
Britain's
they're
been
losing their
changing for
culture.
years.
But it's
Who said
losing
they're
their
losing
culture.
Who
Are
says
they?
that?
Are they going to try to?
I'm
what
from
are they
the UK.
gonna-
I'm telling you, no one's losing their culture.
London is going to be very little British in
Who
one
says
day.
so?
What's the plan? That's what we want to know. What's the
You
plan?
just made that up. Have you been
But
to London?
how do we know?
Cyrus, have you been?
100% of modern conservative beliefs rely on false pretenses. Holy shit. I don't know what to do, man. I don't know what to do. Because you can't fact check them. They're going to say the guy who did the study was woke. I don't know what to do. Like I said, I think the frog has been boiled. I think we're probably just fucked. But man, it is so depressing to just watch this happen, to unfold before our eyes. It sucks, man.
To London.
No.
So then maybe you shouldn't comment on places you don't know anything about.
But what's the plan?
I grew up in London.
What's
London's
the
a very
general
British
plan?
city. I was in London a few weeks ago.
Okay.
It's a very British city.
I hope not. I understand that there are people in this audience that don't like me or you in
Yeah,
this
they
country,
want
and
us
I
to leave.
respect that. There's some that don't even want me to
God,
date a
I hate
blonde
that
woman.
guy.
They want to keep to their own.
That guy's the worst guy. Of all of these people, that guy is the worst guy. Even more than the I'm a Nazi guy. That guy's worse.
Or ginger or whatever.
A million times
I
worse than
respect
anyone
that,
else here.
But there has to be a deal made. There's Idaho, there's Montana. They can go live in a homogeneous society. I don't believe in force, okay? And I believe that there has to be a deal made. And I think there's upsides and downsides to diversity.
There's a deal made. People.
He thinks we should ship all of our immigrants to Idaho? That would be a war crime punishable by the Geneva Convention. No. Don't go to Idaho, immigrants. Go anywhere else. For the love of God. Don't go to Idaho.
Have elections. They vote for elections. And right now, there's Donald Trump in the White House. Not someone I support, but people voted for him.
Well, why did he get in mainly? Because we had
That's a big subject.
2016,
Not sure we have time to get into that.
2016,
There's a lot
Bernie
of reasons he got in.
Sanders. Okay.
Part of the reason he got in is that people in this room want people like me and you to leave, and they voted for him to try and make that happen.
I'm not surprised. One of the Charlottesville marchers doesn't like me. And I've met those people. And I respect their views.
You really shouldn't.
Well,
Don't
they're wants.
Don't respect racists and fascists, is my advice to you.
Well, they have their preferences. That's just, we can't change that.
Actually, we can. That's why I tried to come back today. Anyways.
All right, that's time. Please return to your seat.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you,
Great
Cyrus.
pleasure.
Good.
No, not all beliefs are worth respecting, frankly. Come on.
My final claim is that Donald Trump's plan for Gaza is ethnic cleansing.
Am I going to be controversial if I don't watch this one? I might just skip this one. What's the last one? Kai's claim we should get rid of birthright citizenship. Not because I'm afraid to tackle this subject. This is a very interesting subject, and this I'll say this again. If you want me to tackle this, I'll watch it, and I will make a separate video for it, unlisted, just for you. I will do that. If I get one comment saying, Dima, I legitimately want to hear your perspective on this, I'll make it for you. This video is already very long. I often skip one segment or two, and I can just tell you what the conservatives are going to say. They're either going to be, one, it's not ethnic cleansing, which is just not true. Two, It is ethnic cleansing, and it's actually a good thing. Okay, done. That's the right wing's opinion on this. I'll take the time and say, like, I just don't talk about Gaza probably enough on this channel for someone who calls themselves a leftist. It is certainly not because I'm afraid of alienating viewers or not getting, or people unsubscribing or something. That's not what I care about. Part of it is I just don't cover foreign policy or just like global news very often in general. My stance on it is that it is what we're doing, what the belligerent state is doing to the Palestinians in Gaza is a genocide. It is horrific. It is evil. It is cruel. The fact that my tax dollars are funding it is despicable, in my opinion. My views generally align with the likes of most on the left on this. That there is a genocide occurring. There is a mass ethnic cleansing campaign occurring so that, again, the belligerent occupying force, the occupying state, can further establish their own ethno-state. I'm against ethno-states. I'm against genocide. I'm against ethnic cleansing. I fully support Palestinian emancipation. I don't support the apartheid they've had to live under for all these decades. So, I mean, I apologize to any on the left who feel I'm, doing something wrong by not covering this, by not watching this part of the video. I apologize. But if you want my opinion on this, the people of Gaza are experiencing ethnic cleansing. They are experiencing genocide. We're going to look back on this as one of the most heinous, evil, and despicable things that occurred in this century. I encourage you to donate to Palestinian relief efforts. If you are an American, pressure your congresspeople to stop sending weapons over there to facilitate this genocide. My representative, a progressive, is supporting this genocide. Makes me sick to my fucking stomach. So again, I'm sorry if you feel I have a responsibility to cover this. Maybe I do. Part of me wants to make this video a little bit shorter. Another part of me is I think I just know what these pieces of shit are going to say about this topic. So let me know if you want me to watch it. I'll check it out.
I thought it would be an interesting exercise in trying to understand what genuine far-right conservative folks think, and it was kind of disturbing to see that they think what I thought they'd think, and they were happy to say it out loud.
Yeah. If you're here, I probably skipped that section too. I didn't have a lot to say on that, but let's hear Mehdi's kind of final statement.
I am disappointed that I had to sit across from people who believe in white genocide, who believe I'm not a citizen. Multiple people here said I should be deported. One of them was even the child of immigrants, which I found bizarre.
Obviously, we were way outclassed. Like, we're not professional debaters. I don't think anyone in this room was. Maybe one or two people. And clearly, Manny, he does this for a
Clearly that Kai guy is. We saw that he has some kind of show, right?
living, right? He's a journalist, so he's really good at what he does.
Mehdi Hassan was pretty good at, taking cheap shots, trying to derail people from their arguments, trying to pit me against, some of the people that wouldn't like people of my color to be in the United States, which is irrelevant.
I think one person said
it's irrelevant?
as he walked off, you'll be the first to go, which is ominous and racist.
I think that was disheartening and particularly discouraging because it just felt like it was fitting into a stereotype that we're trying to fight against, which is like we actually have arguments, we can provide good reason, and that rhetoric just pushes that far away.
No, you very much don't have good arguments. The modern conservative movement does not have good arguments for anything. They're all based on false pretenses. Again, when I say that, I'm not saying everything every liberal believes is right. Everything every leftist believes is right. Everything I believe is right. My opinions have changed over the years significantly. Even in the last couple of years that I've been doing this project, my opinions on certain things have changed. I don't sit here thinking my opinions will now never change ever. I am solely correct on everything. No, the way I put it, poorly quoting the great physicist Sean Carroll, I have opinions and I have convictions. One of the things I try and actively do is determine what is something I think I understand that is worth being a conviction. Something I know a lot about, I think is backed up by good research or whatever the fuck. And what are some things that are just opinions that I have?
I am, I guess, a far-right Republican, but as I learned today, not as far right as I thought I was. Someone gets up and they're just like, yeah, I mean, I guess I just want to have like autocracy forever and Christian nationalism, or just being like, yeah, I'm racist. And to me, that's very foreign of a concept.
While I didn't, disagree with most of the people in the circle, it did bother me at times, to see them say mean things. There's not really a reason to do that. But it also upset me when Mehdi said, I'm not willing to debate with those people.
Free speech doesn't mean you need to give credibility or oxygen or a platform to people who don't agree in human equality.
I hear Mehdi's point about not giving them a platform, but the thing is, if you stop giving them a platform, they don't just go away and change their mind. And then you tell the rest of society no one exists who thinks like that. And that's not true.
I do.
No, what it does, and what this video unfortunately does, and I get comments saying, hey, don't watch these videos, and I get those arguments, but I mean, this one, the cat is well out of the bag, folks, I'm sorry to say. The lipstick is not going back in the tube on this one. The reality is, like, let's just take Twitter, right? You're not banning Nazi content anymore. By doing that, you're making more people like Nazi content. You're radicalizing more people. I do think regulating speech, even on like social media and whatever, that is a slippery slope. I 100% believe that. In broad terms, I consider myself to be pro free speech. But to me, there is some line where, yeah, speech can be bad. And it can teach people bad things. Platforming Nazis, unfortunately, helps propagate those beliefs, especially in scenarios where they are not properly fact-checked. Mehdi does a pretty good job here. But something like Twitter, where you can just be an outright Nazi, yeah, there's community notes or whatever, those are clearly not consistent. There are plenty of Nazis in those community notes creating shitty community notes or downvoting good community notes. Plenty of just like random posts that get 100k likes that are Nazi posts that just won't get community noted. So that is far a million miles away from a perfect system too. I think it's a good step. Something like that is a good thing. No, frankly, that is a circle I cannot square in my head. My genuine belief, generally, in free speech, in free expression, I do believe these things, and I think restricting those things is a slippery slope. I really do think that. But I also think that some speech can clearly be harmful. Clearly bad faith speech where like I'm a Nazi and I'm intentionally trying to create more Nazis to hurt people. That's bad. But it's hard to prove. You're not going to get someone like Nick Fuentes who's going to say, I am intentionally misleading people to create more Nazis. You know what I mean? Proving bad faith speech is the hard part. And even when it's not bad faith, when it's just shitty and evil and dumb, and people are going to hear it and think, ooh, that sounds good, that's what I believe now. I think that is a bad thing. And I don't know the right way to regulate it. Because yeah, once you start regulating speech, yeah, unfortunately, the bad actors, someone like Trump, could restrict, good speech, which he's obviously doing. He's done. He's going to do more of. He just signed that batshit insane AI executive order. It's so funny, like right-wingers thinking they're the free speech people when all they do is prove they're anything but. But that is one of the biggest demons that are currently fighting in me, is the understanding, at least from my perspective, that restricting free speech is a massive slippery slope, but also that by allowing free speech to some degree can cause a lot of harm. I'm just witnessing it, right? Letting Fox News do what they're doing, letting these Nazis on Twitter do what they're doing. It is making people worse. It is making society worse. I don't know the right way to regulate it to where it doesn't, again, just allow for a slippery slope that allows good faith speech to then be incorrectly regulated. Anyway.
I like to debate people, even people I disagree with. I try and avoid bad faith folks. I think some of the folks today were bad faith. I'm anti-conservative, right? I don't support conservative views on taxation. I don't support conservative views on immigration. But the people here today were way beyond conservative. This is open authoritarianism. And this is what is being normalized and mainstreamed in our country by people in power, by the media, by people who don't know any better.
Yeah, all true. And I don't know what to do about it. My solution is make better people, make smarter people, better people. Improve everyone's socioeconomic conditions, makes better people. Invest more in education, make college free, make our education better, helps make smarter people. I think it's too late. I do genuinely think it's kind of too late. I will still vote for politicians who will try and do these things, I guess. I personally think it is too late. But anyway, let me know what y'all think, and I will catch you guys next time.